Rim Jang Uk worked hard to tighten the red chains of the slowing curse around the boss. The army of skeleton warriors rushed forward. The skeleton warriors continuously threw the flame of the earth at the boss. Rim Jang Uk stood still, coldly channeling his spiritual power. The familiar red orb appeared before him. He didn't move, continuing to explode the corpses. With just a single stomp of war, the skeleton armor couldn't be broken. It was clear that the ancient earth dragon had reached its limit. It couldn't hold on much longer. Under the stomping of war, Rim Jang Uk's skeleton armor shone brightly, blocking the entire attack. Rim Jang Uk kept snapping his fingers, setting off more explosions from the corpses. The boss thought to himself, "This little human." With a loud crash, the ancient earth dragon's gaze filled with helplessness as it crashed to the ground. The tiny, insignificant ant it had ignored was now the only one giving it a chance to use its skills. The system quickly updates the information. Defeated ancient earth dragon. Experience gained 5,000. Obtained earth dragon strong bow X1. Obtained Earth Essence Crystal X1. Obtained Grand Earth Crystal X1. Obtained Heart of Earth X1. Using Collection Skill, additionally obtained Earth Dragon Strong Bow X1, Earth Essence Crystal X1, Grand Earth Crystal X1, Heart of Earth X1. Earth Dragon Strong Bow, a platinum grade weapon exclusively for archers. Grants plus 3,500 to all attributes. Enhances bow and arrow skills by 90%. Raven Jang Uk spoke coldly, "Let's go. It's time for the next round." Mu Xiao's eyes widened as she let out a quick response. Inwardly, she couldn't help but marvel. Wow, this dungeon farming is insanely fast. He equipped skeleton armor on both himself and Mu Xiao, then gave a warning. When using the teleportation talisman to exit, you might run into a demon attack on the Dragon Clan. Don't panic and don't bother fighting them. Just select or enter dungeon, and I'll reset the dungeon cooldown instantly. Right now, we need to farm as many times as possible and collect enough Heart of Earth. Mu Xiao nodded vigorously, saying, "I understand now. With Yi Yu there, they'll handle the demons and the Dragon Clan." "All right, then let's head out of the dungeon," Rim Jang Uk replied. The two of them left the dungeon, and surprisingly, no one attacked them. This was completely unexpected by Rim Jang Uk. He quickly reset the dungeon in just 2 seconds, and they both stepped back inside. The demons were confused. What just happened? Did I miss something? Weren't they already out? It's been less than half an hour. How did those two humans go in and out so quickly? They've barely been gone 40 minutes. Did they run into a ghost? The Deep Abyss demon found it hard to believe. Jiang Wenshan was also stunned. Is this the dungeon clearing efficiency of Officer Rim? Excited, Jiang Wenshan couldn't help but exclaim, if this is really the case, they could clear it 4 or 5 more times. In a few hundred years, humans won't lack Heart of Earth anymore, and Earth Knights will definitely emerge again. The members of the Fur Tribe were just as confused as a group of young deer with antlers. Wait, were they just entering the dungeon? Why are they coming out already? Raven Jang Uk and Mu Xiao kept going in and out, making the demons dizzy. They're going in again. Has he really already completed a full run of the dungeon? How is this even possible? Forget him. We'll wait until he comes out again, then we'll make our move. There's no way we're letting him leave alive. At that moment, Jiang Wenshan tightly gripped his sword and shield, sensing the shift in the atmosphere. The killing intent around them grew stronger by the second. It seemed the demons couldn't hold back anymore and were ready to attack. All right, let's go. We've been prepared for this. The tension in the air grew thicker, as if a major battle was about to erupt. If the demons and the dragon tribe weren't allies, they would have already started fighting. But even though they were working together, the humans weren't afraid. If it came to a fight, they were ready to face it head on. Half an hour later, when they entered the dungeon again, Rim Jang Uk and Mu Xiao's coordination was even better than before. They quickly wiped out the monsters in front of them, and the girl exclaimed joyfully, "We were even faster this time. I think we might be able to break the 35-minute mark." Jang Uk Rim suddenly froze in shock. His eyes widened in fear, his pupils contracting as he gasped, "What?" Right before him, the ancient earth dragon was standing, fully awake. This was nothing like before when it had been asleep. Mu Xiao exclaimed in surprise, "Wait, why is it awake?" A chilling sense of danger surged through the air. A strange, ominous aura loomed over Jang Uk Rim and Mu Xiao. A deafening roar echoed through the dungeon, followed by terrified screams. Then sudden silence. The sheer force of the energy sliced through the air like a blade. Realizing the imminent danger, Jang Uk Rim shouted, "Something's wrong with the dungeon!" Countless skeletons were hurled away, crashing to the ground, unable to move. Mu Xiao was swept up along with them, landing hard. Her skeleton armor creaked and cracked, nearly shattering. At that moment, the only one still standing was Jang Uk Rim. And all of this was caused by a single roar from the ancient Earth Dragon. In an instant, the ancient Earth Dragon seemed to teleport, appearing directly in front of him. Its massive dragon eyes locked onto his, sending an icy chill down his spine straight to his brain. Goosebumps covered his skin. In those dragon eyes, he saw something: emotion, intelligence. The ancient Earth Dragon before him was not the same creature he had encountered before. Jang Uk Rim's mind raced. What happened before all this? Jang Uk was at a loss. The situation had gone beyond his understanding. "You human brat, you've gone too far this time." A thunderous voice echoed, making Jang Uk's ears ache. This boss could actually talk. The situation seemed to be spiraling out of control. In the dragon eyes of the ancient Earth Dragon, a dangerous light flickered. "You humans have a saying, things don't happen more than 3 times. So tell me, just how many times do you plan to kill me?" Jang Uk lifted his head, his mind racing. He had never encountered anything like this before. As he pieced together the causes and consequences, a thought flashed through his mind. He grasped on the 3 key words: weakening state. Jang Uk asked, "Are you the true ancient Earth Dragon?" The ancient Earth Dragon let out a cold snort. "What do you think?" 2 massive streams of air blasted from its nostrils. The skeleton armor groaned under the pressure, then shattered into pieces. Jang Uk didn't bother reinforcing it. There was no point. If the dragon could destroy it with just a breath, killing him would be as easy as flipping a hand. Reinforcing it would be meaningless. There was no way out of this dungeon. All escape items had been disabled. Intuition told him that the ancient Earth Dragon before him was even more terrifying than the ancient Luan in the core area. As the ancient Earth Dragon lowered its head, Jang Uk saw his own reflection in its eyes. His mind raced at full speed. "Oh, esteemed existence, it seems you've broken the rules." At that moment, Jang Uk made a guess. The ancient Earth Dragon inside the dungeon was merely an avatar, which explained why it was referred to as a weakened form. This was similar to the relationship between the original body and its avatar in the Shenxa Tower. And now, a true body had arrived. However, Jang Uk only dared to voice this thought after regaining his composure. The ancient Earth Dragon let out a thunderous roar. "What did you just say?" A powerful surge of energy erupted, shaking the sky as if it would tear the entire dungeon apart. Outside, the entrance to the dungeon suddenly glowed with a brilliant purple light illuminating the ground. Everyone was startled, clueless about what was happening. Why was the dungeon entrance glowing? What exactly was going on inside? No one knew. The 3 factions remained locked in a tense standoff, unable to enter and find out. In the dungeon, Jang Uk tried to stay calm. "I'm telling you, you've broken the rules. Someone at the Earth Heart level shouldn't even exist." At this point, Jang Uk was about 80% certain that the dungeon boss was just an avatar of the being standing before him. The ancient Earth Dragon suddenly let out a thunderous laugh, making the entire dungeon tremble violently. Jang Uk waited patiently. He'd already figured out that this terrifying entity had no intention of killing him. The ancient Earth Dragon laughed for a long time before lowering its head and roaring with its mouth wide open. "Do you believe that a single breath from me could burn you to ashes?" Jang Uk shook his head. "You won't kill me." "Oh? And how do you know that?" This time, the dragon seemed surprised. Jang Uk continued, "If you wanted to kill me, you would have done it the moment we met. You didn't need to take control of my undead army or go out of your way to knock out my teammates. My guess is you're just here to give me a warning." As he spoke, Jang Uk remained completely calm, showing no fear at all. After all, the worst that could happen was death, nothing to be afraid of. The ancient Earth Dragon laughed again. "That's right. I came to see who could make my avatar suffer so much. Honestly, I have no desire to eat you. I came here today to make a deal with you." Jang Uk was curious. "How do we make the deal?" Then Jang Uk respectfully added, "Please, senior, go ahead." The ancient Earth Dragon slowly replied, "There's no rush. You're not yet qualified to complete this deal. Wait until you're able to reach the true center of the higher space. I will wait for you there." With that, the ancient Earth Dragon turned into countless points of light, vanishing, just like the stars Jang Uk had seen when the monster died in the core area. Jang Uk murmured, "The center of the higher space, could it be that you are?" He let out a sigh of relief. It was a relief that the dragon didn't actually want to kill him. If it had, there was no way he could have survived. In fact, Jang Uk felt that the talisman Beck Yua 1 gave him would have been useless. At best, it might have just made the dragon put in a little extra effort. If he wasn't mistaken, it was definitely the guardian of the core area of the higher space. Could it be the boss Mo Meng you mentioned? He hadn't expected it to have intelligence, not your usual kind of boss. Jang Uk recalled the ancient Luan. It seemed like the ancient Luan also had intelligence. He had seen something similar in its eyes back then. However, the intelligence of the ancient Luan was simple, like that of a young child. In comparison, the intelligence the ancient Earth Dragon showed was like that of an adult, and it was far beyond that of the ancient Luan. While Jang Uk was thinking, the deceased hero and the group of skeletons slowly started to wake up. They weren't injured, just controlled. From this, it was clear how powerful the ancient Earth Dragon's abilities were far beyond what Jang Uk had imagined. With a soft groan, Mook Xiao Xiao also regained consciousness. She rubbed her head and asked, "What just happened?" Jang Uk shook his head. "Nothing. The dungeon underwent a mutation and the boss disappeared." He lied without missing a beat. His expression was calm, almost as if he were saying, "That's just how it is." Mook Xiao Xiao couldn't believe it. Dungeon mutations were extremely rare. She had only heard about them before, but never thought she would experience one. In her memory, she had just arrived near the ancient Earth Dragon, and then it let out a roar before she passed out. She hadn't expected it to be like this. Some dungeons, after a mutation, became much stronger. It wasn't unusual for a boss to suddenly level up by 10 or more levels. Even someone like Jang Uk could have found himself in danger. After all, the events with ancient Luan were still fresh in her mind. She asked, a little worried, "So, you're okay, right?" "I'm fine. The dungeon's over. Let's head out. We need to deal with the people outside." Jang Uk remembered something and turned to Mook Xiao Xiao. "By the way, what happens when you use your collection skill on the dragon tribe and demons?" "I don't know. I've never tried it before. But after we go out, you can give it a shot, sure." Everything went quiet again. The people outside were waiting, all on high alert. It wasn't long before the space began to warp slightly, and two figures appeared at the dungeon's entrance. They're out attack. With shouts echoing through the air, demons and the dragon tribe launched their assault. The evil demons and dragons, their numbers overwhelming, charged forward with murderous intent, yelling, "Kill!" The moment they attacked, Jiang Wenshan was the first to charge forward. You won't get away with it. His defensive perimeter skill activated and a solid shield appeared, glowing softly as it stopped the first wave of attacks before they could even hit. A massive fireball meteor came crashing down from the sky, and not just one. More than 20 Dragon Clan mages were there, all attacking at once. The power of each meteor was terrifying. Arrows rained down in dense waves, covering a vast area. Jialan Yu quickly rushed forward. "I'm here to help you." With a shield in hand, she activated her defensive perimeter skill. Jang Uk turned coldly to the Dragon Clan and demons, his eyes sharp. "So, you've come here to die? Let me help you fulfill that wish." The demons and Dragon Clan roared furiously. "Kill that human. We must not let him take the heart of Earth back. No human here can be spared. Kill them all." Jang Uk sneered and spoke to Jiang Wenshan. "Take them all down." Jiang Wenshan nodded. Understood. The Dark Mage and Jiang Wenshan's team raised his staff high. A blast of light shot into the sky and exploded, instantly creating a no-fly zone. Panic struck as the demons and Dragon Clan plummeted from the sky in horror. The Abyssal Demons and Dragon Clan warriors were thrown into chaos. Someone from the Dragon Clan shouted in alarm, "This is bad." They have a mage who can cast a no-fly spell. There was one stubborn guy in the group who hadn't yet realized how terrifying Jang Uk was. He smugly said, "So what if we can't fly? Even if we fall to the ground, we're still strong enough to kill them." The demons, however, stayed a bit calmer and analyzed the situation. "The flight ban lasts for a long time, at least a minute. If we can just hold out, we'll still have the upper hand." Then the familiar dark green spiritual energy of Jang Uk spread across the entire space. Groups of undead legions suddenly appeared one after another on the ground. 13 groups of undead legions appeared, each bringing with them a murderous intent that was thick in the air. How can there be so many? How does he have so many summons? This is basically a full army. Do you understand why he can fight so fast now? It's all about overwhelming them with numbers. Hang in there, the flight ban only lasts for a minute. As long as we hold out, we'll be fine. It was only now that the demons and the Dragon Clan realized how Jang Uk had been clearing dungeons. He could finish a dungeon run in under 40 minutes. It wasn't some cheap tactic or anything. It was all down to raw power. But at this point, no matter what they said, it was too late. It couldn't last even a minute, and Jang Uk wasn't about to give them a chance. The demons and the Dragon Clan were trapped in the cold, tight encirclement of the undead legions. The enhanced troops on the back of Jang Uk's hand burned hot, and his eyes were cold and determined. The flight ban may not last long enough, but I'm sure as hell not giving you any chances. Suddenly, a deafening explosion rang out, and a dazzling light streaked down. The skeleton army was enhanced, deployed together with enhanced troops, and combined with Mook Xiao Xiao's wide-range collection skill. The whole area was affected by her collection skill. A brilliant fireworks display exploded in the sky, covering more than half of the demons and dragons. The sparkling light flooded the entire battlefield. What is this? Why is it glowing? Why isn't it causing any damage? The dragons and demons were all extremely curious about the light rings from Xiao's collection skill. Amid their confused voices, the attack skills of the Bone Warriors and Skeleton Mages began to fall heavily. The Bone Warriors' skills erupted, and the damage dealt at that moment was absolutely terrifying. Screams of agony echoed across the battlefield, soon drowned out by the magic of the Skeleton Mages. In just a few seconds, the battlefield turned into a quiet wasteland. Jiang Wenshan, who was extremely familiar with Jang Uk's abilities, stared ahead and casually said, "It's over." Jialan Yu, standing behind him, asked in disbelief, "What did you say?" Jiang Wenshan explained, "When Officer Rim uses his rune skill, the outcome is already decided. With the enhanced troop skill, there's no need for corpse explosions. The power of the Bone Warriors already far exceeds everyone's expectations. After just one use of enhanced troops, the Abyssal Fire Realm was wiped out in an instant, let alone these ordinary demons and dragons." Just as Jiang Wenshan had expected, the moment Jang Uk made his move, the outcome was already decided. A steady stream of notifications flooded in from Jang Uk. Countless enemy takedowns, experience points, gained and accumulated military merit. Defeated a level 48 flame demon, earned 2 million experience points and 1,000 military merit. He and Xiao split the military merit evenly. The soldier insignias on their shoulders shone brightly. On Jang Uk's Lieutenant Colonel badge, a new star had just appeared. She had just been promoted to Lieutenant Colonel as well. In disbelief, she gasped, "Wow, did I really just get promoted to Lieutenant Colonel?" At that moment, a dazzling light erupted from Jang Uk. He had leveled up again. The system promptly updated his stats. Name, Jang Uk. Class, the only Necromancer. Level, 34. Title, Dragon Clan Battle King. All attributes, plus 500. Skill consumption, 50%. Strength, 1,526 plus 500. Constitution, 1,526 plus 500. Agility, 1,526 plus 500. Spirit, 21,630 plus 3,500. Skill, Corpse Explosion, level 5. Detonates a corpse, dealing damage equal to 30% of its HP to all enemies within a 5-meter radius. Jang Uk was beyond excited. His Corpse Explosion skill had finally leveled up. Now that my innate talent has enhanced it, the damage radius reaches 50 meters and the damage itself has tripled. As long as I have enough corpses, I might just be able to blow up the entire flame demon realm. Xiao's eyes widened in shock. I can't believe the collection skill works on demons and the Dragon Clan too. The system continued its notifications. Through the collection skill, you have obtained a fragment of the Heart of the Demon. Heart of the Demon fragment. When used, it shrouds the user in demonic aura for 1 hour. Through the collection skill, you have obtained Essence of the Dragon Clan's low-grade bloodline. Essence of the Dragon Clan's low-grade bloodline can be refined by alchemists into potions or used by blacksmiths and metallurgists to craft battlefield equipment. At first glance, the demon core fragments didn't seem particularly useful, just an aura of demonic energy. But after thinking it through, Jang Uk quickly realized the potential of these materials. This is good stuff. If I ever need to enter the flame demon realm, this could be a game changer. I never expected the collection skill to bring me something this valuable. Jang Uk realized that legendary grade extraordinary abilities like target lock weren't just useful in dungeons, it played a crucial role on the battlefield too. Among the human group, aside from Jiang Wenshan and his companions, everyone else stood frozen in shock, staring at the battlefield before them, now completely silent. It was clearly a massive battle, yet in the blink of an eye, it was already over. Jialan Yu mumbled in disbelief, repeating the same sentence over and over. Just like that, it's over? I don't think it even lasted a minute. What kind of skill had Jang Uk used? How had his skeletons suddenly become so powerful? Not only were there so many of them, they were also much stronger. Otherwise, how could the battle have ended in just a few short seconds? Jiang Wenshan explained, Officer Rim specializes in area attacks. The more enemies, the better for him. But I never expected the primordial rune's skill to be this overwhelming. I can't believe someone at just level 34 has already obtained a primordial rune. His future potential is beyond imagination. Jang Uk then tossed Xiao a glowing stone. She was incredibly curious. This was a two-way teleportation stone. He explained to her, if you find the demonic Dragon Palace dungeon, let me know and I'll do the same. I'll need your help. Xiao asked, are you leaving already? Jang Uk replied coldly, the Earth Core dungeon has disappeared. There's nothing left for me to do here. I still need to complete my master's mission. Goodbye. She watched Jang Uk go, reluctant to see him leave. It wasn't until he had completely vanished from sight that she finally took a step forward, her heart heavy with regret. Jia Yu suddenly leaned in close to Mook Xiao Xiao's ear, a teasing smile on her face. "What's this?" Feeling a little attached, Mook Xiao Xiao was startled. Her beautiful face flushed as red as a tomato, and she hurriedly responded, "No, of course not. Sister Yi Yu, don't say such things." Jia Yi Yu grinned, her expression playful. "Oh my, our little Xiao Xiao is still blushing." Her words sparked a wave of warm laughter. The other women in Yi Yu's night squad glanced at Mook Xiao Xiao, covering their mouths as they giggled. Feeling embarrassed under their gaze, Mook Xiao Xiao protested, "I swear it's not like that. It's just his way of clearing dungeons is really unique, so fast, so thrilling. It's kind of addicting." Jia Yi Yu's curiosity was piqued. "Oh, tell me then, how does he do it?" A group of female warriors gathered together, all of them curious about how Rim Jang Uk tackled dungeons. "Yeah, come on, tell us. How did you finish the inner core dungeon in just 40 minutes? The best record in history took 6 hours. Mook Xiao Xiao quickly started explaining. "So, here's how it went. She didn't hold anything back and told the whole story, from beginning to end. 10 days later, Rim Jang Uk followed the advice of the god-tier mage, Flame. He really hoped that a new, powerful figure with a divine triple talent would emerge among humanity. A divine triple talent, just the thought of it was terrifying. Such a person would be strong enough to protect humanity for centuries, keeping the Dragon Clan and demons from making any moves. Of course, all 3 talents had to be powerful. They couldn't be useless. As he ventured deeper into the central area, Rim Jang Uk ran into a demon. The demon quickly recognized the insignia on Rim Jang Uk's shoulder, a 1-star lieutenant colonel. Without hesitation, the demon immediately turned tail and flew off, not daring to look back. Rim Jang Uk scratched his head, puzzled. "Ever since I became a 1-star lieutenant colonel, I haven't killed any demons or Dragon Clan members. Did they spread news about me across the higher levels of the space? Sigh, the only problem now is that I still can't fly. I can't even catch up with them." At the same time, outside the magnificent palace, a residence of the enchanting Demon King, the air twisted and rippled. A massive flame burst out from the darkness. Within the fire, a single eye opened. "Enchanting Demon King, come out!" A voice, filled with rage, echoed through the space. The entire palace trembled as the enchanting Demon King appeared in midair, his drowsy expression carrying a hint of irritation. "Blazing Demon King, do you have any idea what happens to those who disturb my sleep?" Blazing Demon King flinched for a moment as if hesitating. Still, he tried to keep his composure. "I don't care what happens. Answer me, as you already know about Rim Jang Uk in the Eternal Trials." The enchanting Demon King yawned and replied, "So what if I did?" Blazing Demon King immediately pressed on. "If you knew, then why didn't you tell me? You clearly knew." Enchanting Demon King smiled charmingly, amused. "So what if I know he's in the Eternal Trials? Why should I tell you? Who are you to me anyway?" Blazing Demon King flared up even more, then retreated 100 meters. Enchanting Demon King's smile remained dazzling. "Look at you. With just this little bit of courage, you dare come and provoke me. I'll let you off this time, but if it happens again, you might as well leave that eye of yours behind." Rage swelled within the massive eye, yet it didn't dare to argue. Though both were Demon Kings, Blazing Demon King knew it was no match for Enchanting Demon King. If they truly fought, there was no doubt it would lose that eye. Still, it had to maintain some dignity. Blazing Demon King spoke firmly. "If you already know Rim Jang Uk is in the Eternal Trials, why haven't you sent someone to kill him? Why don't you just tell me where he is?" The Enchanting Demon King, with a cold, determined look, declared, "How do you know I didn't send someone to kill him? I even sent the Crimson Moon Demon and the Flame Demon Fire Spirit, but they still couldn't take him down." Of course, the Enchanting Demon King knew what it was really after. Information about Rim Jang Uk's attribute skills, to find his weakness. Although the Enchanting Demon King looked down on it, they were both Demon Kings, so a little respect was in order. You know the rules of the ancient battlefield. If you have the strength, handle it yourself. The Enchanting Demon King threw a black stone at it and said, "All the information you want is in there. Don't bother me again. I'm going to sleep. And just so you know, it's best not to disturb me again, or I'll make you regret it." With that, the Enchanting Demon King vanished into the air. The Blazing Demon King, holding the black stone, didn't dare to breathe, and in an instant, it disappeared as well. Meanwhile, Rim Jang Uk had no idea how far he had traveled. Was it tens of thousands of miles, or even 100,000? The Eternal Trials had no day or night. Without a timer on the communication device, Rim Jang Uk had no clue how long he had been in the Eternal Trials. Following the outskirts of the core area to move forward felt like an endless journey. The upper level space was divided into 3 zones, but the largest being the core area, also the most dangerous. Unless absolutely necessary, Jang Uk had no intention of entering the core area for now. The skeletons leading the way cleared out all the monsters along the path and finally leveled up. The system updated the information. Name, Jang Uk. Class, Necromancer, unique. Level, 35. Title, Dragon Clan War King. All attributes plus 500. Skill consumption reduced by 50%. Strength, 1660 plus 500. Constitution, 1660 plus 500. Agility, 1660 plus 500. Spirit, 22,300 plus 3,500. Trait, Divine Power, level 35. Gold Grade Skeleton Warrior, level 35. Strength, 20,000. Agility, 20,000. Spirit, 20,000. Constitution, 20,000. Skill, Berserk Strike, level 3. Deals damage equal to 400% of the user's strength to the target. Cooldown, 10 minutes. Gold Grade Skeleton Mage, level 35. Strength, 5,000. Agility, 5,000. Spirit, 25,000. Constitution, 5,000. Undead General, Legion member, over 350 units. Strength, 6,500. Agility, 6,500. Spirit, 6,500. Constitution, 30,000. Jang Uk gazed into the distance and murmured, I have no idea how long it's been since I last heard of the Eternal Trials. Time feels a bit blurry. There are still 4 more levels to go. If I reach level 39 and still can't find the demonic Dragon Palace, I'll have no choice but to return and prepare for my class transition and career advancement. He kept his eyes on the horizon, lost in thought. When I reach level 39, I'll need to prepare for my second awakening of latent abilities. If I still haven't found the demonic Dragon Palace by then, my only option will be to use the mermaid's tears and hope I awaken a talent during the awakening process. At the same time, I'll also need to advance my class right before the awakening. Doing both at once will be incredibly challenging. The demonic Dragon Palace remains the top priority, and there's still time to gain 4 more levels. After level 35, leveling up slows down significantly. It takes nearly 10 days just to gain a single level. Actually, Jang Uk was well aware that his leveling speed was much faster than most people's, but compared to Lin Mohan, it was incredibly slow. His sister's progression was astonishing, so fast that it completely shattered and rewrote the historical records of the entire human race. Jang Uk knew that his sister's natural talent was accelerating level ups, and not just any talent. It was an extremely rare and powerful one that could advance itself. For most people, the higher their level, the slower their progress. But this rule didn't apply to Lin Mohan. As she leveled up, her talent evolved along with her, causing her speed to increase even more. She had a high chance of becoming the youngest god-tier powerhouse in human history. Jang Uk had a strong feeling that his prediction would come true. Suddenly, a unique aura from afar caught his attention. It carried the energy of Dragon Clan blood. However, mixed within that aura was something slightly different from the usual Dragon Clan presence. As he focused on it, Jang Uk realized that this aura wasn't just infused with Dragon Clan blood. It also carried the essence of demons and traces of dungeon energy. Could it be the demonic Dragon Palace? Jang Uk was stunned, completely taken aback. Then the corners of his lips curled into a slight smile, and his eyes lit up with excitement. This aura was exactly as Baek Yuewon had described. After so many days of searching, they had finally found it. Jang Uk didn't hesitate. He immediately took large strides and sprinted forward. The distance wasn't far, so it wouldn't take long to catch up. A few minutes later, he suddenly stopped. His expression grew serious. Something's not right, he muttered to himself. There's no beam of light falling from the sky, no unusual celestial phenomenon. In his excitement upon sensing the presence, he had overlooked this crucial detail. When the demonic Dragon Palace dungeon appears, it always triggers a celestial phenomenon. The phenomenon spreads across thousands of miles, drawing large groups from all 3 clans. A massive battle would be inevitable. But right now, only the aura of the demonic Dragon Palace could be felt. There was no celestial phenomenon. That left only 2 possibilities. Either the dungeon hadn't fully formed yet, so the phenomenon hadn't appeared, or what lay ahead wasn't actually the demonic Dragon Palace at all. As he pondered, Jang Uk spotted a pillar of light exploding in the distance. Massive, colorful clouds formed, illuminating a vast stretch of land. The range of the colorful clouds was vast. Within those swirling colors, Jang Uk spotted a vortex dungeon. It was forming right before his eyes. A celestial anomaly had appeared, and along with it, the dungeon was taking shape. There was nothing unusual about its energy either. I just thought about it, and it appeared right away. Is that really just a coincidence? Jang Uk had a vague sense that something was off. Something didn't feel quite right, but regardless, he had to go take a look. At this moment, he wasn't far from the colorful clouds. Within minutes, he was standing beneath them. His fingertips glowed faintly as his first instinct was to use a detection spell. This was also the natural reaction of any extraordinary human. The detection spell carried a faint breeze into the vortex dungeon within the clouds. As the wind swept through, the colorful clouds scattered, vanishing completely before Jang Uk's eyes. Even the vortex dungeon inside disappeared along with them. This is a barrier. A massive barrier quickly formed, trapping Jang Uk inside. A demon's barrier. As expected, his sixth sense had been right. Something was definitely wrong. On the ground lay a hexagonal crystal, seemingly abandoned. It emitted a faint glow, its light weak and dim. Every trace of energy related to the demonic Dragon Palace dungeon came from this very crystal. The dragon essence has been used. It contains the energy of the Dragon Clan. When consumed, there's a chance of awakening a talent. So all the Dragon Clan energy originates from this Dragon Essence Pearl? So this was Dragon Essence, but it had already been used, rendering it useless. Someone had employed a special technique to stir the lingering energy inside, luring him into the trap. This was clearly a setup. Jang Uk turned around and immediately spotted a familiar face. Ha ha! A crazed laugh echoed through the air. Jang Uk frowned slightly, but then relaxed. That voice, it was unmistakably someone he knew. On the surface, he appeared calm, but inwardly, his guard was up. Blazing Demon King, so it's you. A massive eye wreathed in blazing flames, materialized in the sky, but it was only a phantom, not a clone, or the true body. According to the rules of the upper space in the eternal trials, even for beings like the Blazing Demon King or the Enchanting Demon King, sending a mere phantom here was the most they could manage. If they had sent an actual clone, let alone their real bodies, Jang Uk wouldn't have stood a chance at stopping them. Jang Uk knew this rule well, so when he saw the phantom of the Blazing Demon King, he wasn't afraid. The Blazing Demon King's voice echoed through the barrier. Jang Uk, this time, you're as good as dead. Jang Uk sensed something off in the Demon King's tone and asked, "You sound pretty confident." Even he wasn't sure where the Demon King's confidence came from. There were no demons around, no bosses, nothing. Aside from the barrier, this place was just the upper layer of space. The Demon King could only send a projection here, so what difference did the barrier make? Jang Uk couldn't help but wonder, is he trying to trap me here until I die? Curious, he thought to himself, what exactly is he planning? The Blazing Demon King raised his voice again. Enjoy your final moments because soon you'll be erased completely. You'll lose everything. I will personally watch as you turn into a fool, weak, broken, and then get slaughtered, torn apart. A so-called human genius? In front of me, you're nothing but trash. For a moment, Jang Uk's heart wavered, but his skeleton armor had already activated. Still, he couldn't shake the question. Where was this confidence coming from? The Legion of the Undead appeared to protect Jang Uk. With a serious look in his eyes, Jang Uk was determined to see what exactly the Blazing Demon King was planning to do. Even though he came here without setting up any monsters himself, what kind of trick was the Demon King pulling? Everything around him seemed strange. Inside the barrier, a fog was rising. If you did look closely, it was hard to notice. When Jang Uk realized his vision had changed, he saw that the entire barrier was covered in a thick mist. The barrier spanned about a kilometer, but there were no monsters, just this fog. What exactly is he trying to do to me? He shouted out loud, giving orders to his skeleton warriors. Go, see if you can break the barrier. The skeleton warriors brought Jang Uk detailed information about what was inside the barrier, but he still had no idea what the Blazing Demon King was trying to do. What good was locking him in like this? Was the Demon King really trying to trap him until he died? The fog kept seeping into his body with every breath. Besides his breathing, the fog was also slowly absorbing through his skin, but the skeleton armor didn't react at all. Jang Uk had great faith in the skeleton armor. If the skeleton armor didn't react, then there was no poison and was harmless. More and more fog was being drawn in, and Jang Uk could almost hear the laughter of the Blazing Demon King. The scene before his eyes started to shift, and a sudden headache struck. Clutching his head in pain, he wondered, what is this? It feels like I'm forgetting something. All the experiences he had lived through flashed before his eyes, defeating demons, slaying bosses, competing in extraordinary abilities, tournaments, various dungeons, and primal battlefields. Each scene appeared and then faded away. Jang Uk had the nagging sense that something was slipping from his memory. These images surfacing and vanishing were being forgotten. What am I doing? I feel like I shouldn't be here. But my memories tell me that right now, I'm just a student preparing to awaken my latent abilities and karma. Suddenly, Gao Liang appeared right in front of him. "Hey, Riv, you idiot, it's your turn. Get up there already." Seaksu stood beside him and asked, "We called you twice. Why are you just standing there like that?" The instructor called out loudly, "Next up, Jang Uk." Inside the Awakened Latent Abilities ritual circle, someone was calling his name again. Jang Uk hesitated as he stepped into the ritual circle. Didn't I already go through the Awakened Latent Abilities process? Am I forgetting something? Doubt grew in his eyes. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was off, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't remember what it was. The ritual circle activated, beginning the process once again. A cold wind swept through as an eerie phenomenon unfolded. Massive bolts of lightning struck down. Before him, Jang Uk saw a mage in a magical cloak, standing in front of an overwhelming number of skeletons. His eyes widened as he spotted one skeleton at the front riding a bone-white warhorse. I've seen this before. The scene felt strangely familiar. This wasn't the first time he had witnessed it. No, something's different. This time, the phenomenon is far more intense than in my memories. An undead dragon, covered in clinging skeletons, let out a pained, agonized wail. There were countless skeletons, an endless sea of them. As Jang Uk looked further into the distance, he saw even more. Skeleton warriors, skeleton mages, and an enormous undead army clashing on the battlefield. Their numbers stretched into the hundreds. Not only on the ground, but also in the sky. Undead dragons were soaring through the air with archers standing on their backs. This time, the sight before him was far more vivid than anything he had witnessed during his previous awakening of latent abilities. Suddenly, the Necromancer lifted his head, gazing up at the sky as if he had just seen something. A blazing fireball exploded right before Jang Uk's eyes. Boom! A crisp sound rang out, and the scene in front of Jang Uk instantly shattered. He jolted awake, realizing he was now standing on the ground of the Eternal Trials. Everything he had just experienced felt like a dream. In that dream, everything faded away, his memories vanishing in an instant. If this keeps happening, I'm afraid I'll turn into a fool. What is going on? Before his eyes, there was nothing but flames. His body was burning, not just on the surface, but deep inside in every corner of his being. Yet, there was no pain. Instead, it felt strangely warm. What exactly is happening? This is Soul Flame. There's a massive amount of something unknown inside me, being consumed by the fire. Everything I just saw, was it all an illusion? Jang Uk suddenly remembered that he had heard this information somewhere before. I remember now. My master once told me about a strange, mysterious, and dangerous type of demon among the demons. They're called the Illusory Demon Abyss. The Illusory Demon Abyss is smaller than a hair, hundreds of times smaller. They live in large swarms, and even a small group can number in the tens of billions. In terms of sheer numbers, they're probably the most common type of demon in the Abyss. Once they enter a body, they can create illusions that invade the soul, even erasing memories and completely wiping out a person's sense of self, turning them into a puppet for the demons. Jang Uk still felt a chill of fear. The illusions are so tiny and bizarre. Before they enter the body, they have no offensive abilities at all. Even skeleton armor doesn't react to them. Unlucky that there was a mage in that strange event, a necromancer, to help. If not, right now, my whole body would be surrounded by soul flames. All the illusions that had invaded his body were burned to ashes by the soul flame. Soul flame. This was the first time Jang Uk had used it on himself, and he never expected it to be so incredibly effective. Then the soul flame skill exploded with his will. A bright blazing flame rose in the palm of his hand, and moments later, the fire burst into a massive fireball. A chorus of desperate screams echoed from the mist. The illusory demon abyss hidden within the fog were incinerated without putting up any resistance. The soul flame was clearly their natural enemy. Well, you actually figured it out, the demon's voices echoed. What kind of fire is this? I'm about to be burned alive. Jang Uk spoke with an intense, murderous tone, more furious than ever. Blazing Demon King, come out here right now. The Blazing Demon King laughed. I'm the Blazing Demon King, born with the power to control fire. You dare play with flames right in front of me? How ridiculous. Ha ha, you foolish brat. Jang Uk, his eyes burning with killing intent, gritted his teeth and shouted, Then let's see if you can handle it. Try it once and you'll learn the hard way. The flame in the palm of Jang Uk's hand leaped up. Its targeted the Blazing Demon King floating in the sky. Even though it was just an illusion, Jang Uk still wanted to try. His soul flame shot toward the projection of the evil King of Fire. The soul flame latched onto the illusion of the Blazing Demon King, and through the connection already established, a spark traveled into the distant mind of the Blazing Demon King far away in the abyssal world. A blood-curdling scream echoed through the abyssal world, the intense pain seizing the demon's soul. The blazing Demon King howled in agony as its palace shook violently, even the demonic throne catching fire. Rim Jang Uk's soul flame seemed ready to burn everything. The stronger the flames grew, the clearer it was Rim Jang Uk's rage was burning fiercely. The Demon minions, seeing their master in torment, grew anxious. Lord Demon King, are you all right? Without warning, a burst of flame erupted, incinerating two of the minions. The fire's master was none other than the blazing Demon King, who viciously took action against his own subordinates. His own shameful defeat could not be known by anyone. The earth shook with a few explosive sounds, and the two evil demons were immediately reduced to ash. A cold-killing intent rose in the blazing Demon King's heart. He said with chilling malice, Rim Jang Uk, I will kill you. If you have the guts, never leave the battlefield again. He shouted in anger, his eyes filled with hatred. Guards, deliver my command. In the eternal trials, a black gemstone fell from the sky. Rim Jang Uk held it in his hand and could feel the intense power of the abyss radiating from within. He remembered that when the Demon King had projected an image here, she had used the same type of black gemstone. Demon King's Gem. This gemstone was condensed from the power of the Abyssal Demon King, containing the Demon King's immense strength. Rim Jang Uk examined it. It didn't seem particularly special, and he couldn't tell what it was supposed to do. Well, I'll just keep it for now, he thought. The soul flame burned even fiercer, incinerating the illusory demon abyss creatures floating in the air. Rim Jang Uk had no idea how many of them the blazing Demon King had unleashed this time. Either way, he planned to burn everything inside the barrier. A few illusory demon abyss creatures weren't a threat, and they didn't live long. But when they multiplied, they became truly terrifying. They could silently take a life without leaving a trace. Rim Jang Uk muttered, phew, good thing that person stepped in this time. If not, I would have fallen right into the blazing Demon King's trap. Rim Jang Uk was extremely curious and wondered, but what exactly was that illusion? After burning down the illusory demon abyss, the skeleton warriors and skeleton mages launched a fire attack on the barrier. The barrier's energy source was the Black Abyss gemstone. Now that the gemstone was in Rim Jang Uk's hands, the barrier lost its power supply. Before long, the skeletons shattered it completely. Suddenly, Rim Jang Uk felt a vibration at his waist. It was a signal from the stone he carried. Mo Mang Yu's teleportation talisman. Could it be that she's already found the demonic dragon palace? He recalled his undead legion and removed his skeleton armor. Rim Jang Uk activated the teleportation stone. The teleportation process took a bit longer than usual, about 2 minutes. He estimated that they were nearly 30,000 kilometers apart. Somehow, in the blink of an eye, they had become so distant. As soon as his feet touched the ground, his vision had yet to fully recover, but he could already sense the dungeon's energy, the power of the abyss, the bloodline of the dragon clan, and the dungeon's aura intertwined. It was a perfect match, 99% identical to the energy the dragon essence had released before. This time, it had to be the real demonic dragon palace. 2 seconds later, his vision was fully restored. Rim Jang Uk saw Mo Mang Yu, and she saw him too. Above them, thousands of stars clustered together, draping down like a glowing river in the sky, a breathtaking sight. Strange phenomena appeared both in the heavens and on the earth. Beneath the starlight, a vortex dungeon spun continuously. A scouting spell flew out, and the system provided information about the level 53 dungeon, Demonic Dragon Palace, which had 3 difficulty levels, Normal, Nightmare, and Hell. Mo Mang Yu smiled slightly and said, see, I still found it faster than you. Rim Jang Uk nodded. If it weren't for Mo Mang Yu, he might have spent another half a month searching without success. He sincerely thanked her. No need to thank me. Mo Mang Yu quickly waved her hand. The dungeon level is too high and I'm too weak to enter. I know you'll want to grind it over and over again. If you have any extra dragon essence, just give me 1 or 2 pieces. Each person can use dragon essence multiple times, but talent can only be awakened once. Once you succeed, any remaining dragon essence becomes useless. Rim Jang Uk answered without hesitation, no problem. Mang Yu had no intention of entering the dungeon. It was a level 53 dungeon with hell level difficulty, and the monsters inside were incredibly strong. Moreover, it was said that the difficulty of Demonic Dragon Palace was even higher than the hell level dungeons of the same rank. If anything went wrong, she was only level 42, so there was a high chance she'd be killed on the spot. Mo Mang Yu urged, hurry up and go in. The existence of Demonic Dragon Palace is unpredictable. It could disappear at any moment. If we miss this chance, finding it again will be extremely difficult. I'll call one more person over. With that, Rim Jang Uk took out a teleportation stone, locked onto a location, and sent a message. Mo Mang Yu looked surprised. She knew Rim Jang Uk's personality well. Besides that one girl, who else would he even think to call? 2 minutes later, a bright light appeared next to Jang Uk and someone arrived via teleportation talisman. Mu Xiao carried a massive platinum long-handled mace, an unmistakable symbol that immediately revealed her profession. Among all the classes, only one could wield a long-handled mace, the collection's skill master. It was the most unique existence among all legendary ranked extraordinary abilities. Mo Mang Yu had extensive knowledge, so she recognized it instantly. A look of astonishment crossed her face. She never expected to see a collection skill master. At this moment, she already knew what Jang Uk was planning, bringing along a master collector to grind dungeons, instantly doubling the benefits. Especially for a solo fighter like Jang Uk, having a master collector with him was more useful than ever. The demons glared at Jang Uk with murderous intent. That's him, Jang Uk. The Demon King has ordered us to kill him on sight. The Dragon Clan was just as filled with hatred. The energy of their kind radiated strongly from this boy. At least 100 of their kin had died by his hands. Our clan has issued a blood order as well. Jang Uk must die. With a battle cry, the demons and Dragon Clan warriors locked onto their target, Jang Uk, and charged at him, all at once. Mo Mang Yu thought to herself, what in the world did this guy do to make both the Dragon Clan and demons see him as their enemy? Kill him! Kill him! By now, Jang Uk's name had spread across the eternal trials like wildfire. To the demons and the Dragon Clan, he was a thorn in their side, but to humanity, he was a hero. News of Jang Uk had already traveled far and wide. Demonic warriors and Dragon Clan fighters in the core region had begun leaving their posts, all preparing to hunt him down. Among the demons, there's a saying that goes something like this. If you ever find yourself alone and see Jang Uk, don't say a word, just turn around and run. But now, the demons and the Dragon Clan have teamed up and come here together. They've all come for the demonic Dragon Palace, and their power levels are pretty impressive, at least above level 55. Because of this, they aren't as scared of Jang Uk as they used to be. The demons and the Dragon Clan immediately found a common enemy in Jang Uk, and they launched their attack all at once. Jang Uk also used his spiritual power to summon his army of undead. With a sharp shout, Jang Uk ordered his skeleton warriors to jump into action, unleashing their skills without hesitation. The magic from his skeleton mages flew like a storm, covering the sky and heading straight toward the enemies. In an instant, there was a blinding light, followed by a thunderous roar. Hundreds of skeleton warriors leaped up, swinging their massive swords with a powerful heroic force. The legend of Jang Uk was so fantastical, even exaggerated at times, that even his skeletons seemed to be soaring into the sky. The extraordinary demons and Dragon Clan, wary of losing their lives, hesitated and began to retreat, rising higher into the air. But the magic from the skeleton mages exploded right above them, so powerful that they had no choice but to scream in agony. Level 35 Necromancer skeletons, once enhanced, have extremely high mental attributes. No matter how bad their skills are, they can still unleash powerful attacks. The extraordinary abilities of the Abyssal Demons and the Dragon Clan were overwhelmed by the relentless assault, leaving them stunned and forcing them to flee. Incredible. Mu Xiao couldn't believe her eyes. She stood there, mouth agape. Just one attack had nearly pushed back both the demons and the Dragon Clan. Panic spread among them. Go! Run! We're no match for him. Jang Uk urged Mu Xiao. Let's go into the dungeon. They won't dare to bother us for now. Still in shock, Mu Xiao replied blankly, oh, okay. Jang Uk and Mu Xiao used a teleportation talisman to enter the dungeon. Seeing this, the Dragon Clan and demons exchanged glances. He wants to enter the dungeon. What should we do? We can't beat him. We might as well go in too. One of them suggested with a sly grin. Good idea, another agreed. Watching the demons hesitate, Mo Mang Yu wondered, what are they up to now? She saw the demons and the Dragon Clan use teleportation talismans to enter the dungeon and exclaimed, what's going on? Why are they entering the dungeon too? Mo Mang Yu couldn't believe it. Normally, outside the dungeon, the three factions were always at war. But now, because of Jang Uk alone, the entire situation had changed. At that moment, a group of people approached, curious. Huh? Why are there so few people? The demons and the Dragon Clan are already here. Could we be one of the first groups? How lucky. As Mo Mang Yu watched more people enter the dungeon, she thought to herself that this might be the first time in the history of the demonic Dragon Palace dungeon that so many people had gathered. Jang Uk and Mu Xiao had already stepped into the demonic Dragon Palace. A chilling energy surged out to greet them, causing the temperature to plummet. The entire area was covered in icicles, and the ground was coated with a thin layer of pale blue ice. The temperature was freezing, at least minus 50 degrees. However, for those with extraordinary abilities, this level of cold was still bearable. Mook Xiao Xiao let out an excited exclamation. Not bad. It's the Ice Demon Dragon. Jang Uk was intrigued. Ice Demon Dragon? Mook Xiao Xiao nodded. That's right. Every time someone enters the demonic dragon palace, the environment changes. Sometimes it's the fire demon dragon, sometimes it's the ice demon dragon, and there are other elemental demon dragons as well. Based on recorded encounters so far, over a dozen different types of demon dragons have appeared in the demonic dragon palace. The most difficult one is the black dragon. The ice demon dragon we're facing now is considered one of the easier ones, but the harder the challenge, the more dragon essence will drop. Jang Uk lowered his voice and said, in a bit, time your spell and cast it when the moment is right. Mook Xiao Xiao, having worked with Jang Uk before, replied, got it, don't worry. In front of them stood a massive dragon's lair towering 100 meters high and spanning 50 meters wide. One unique feature of the demonic dragon palace dungeon was that there were no minor monsters. The entire dungeon had only one enemy, the demon dragon. Defeating it would immediately clear the dungeon. Hearing this, Jang Uk grinned. Only one boss? This dungeon is perfect for me. A direct face-off with the boss, simple rules, but actually beating it won't be easy. Depending on the difficulty level, the dragon's attributes changed dramatically, shaking the very heavens and earth. As they stepped into the dragon's lair, a chilling gust of wind swept past them. The air carried a damp scent, and in an instant, a thick layer of ice spread across the ground. The icicles inside the cave shifted, and a skeleton armor figure appeared, proof that this wind wasn't just cold, it was an attack. Mook Xiao Xiao shivered and blurted out, it's freezing. System notification, Ice Demon Dragon. Hell level leader, level 55. Strength, 100,000. Agility, 60,000. Spirit, 120,000. Constitution, 160,000. Jang Uk thought to himself, those stats are insanely high. This is one powerful boss. As soon as the thought crossed his mind, Jang Uk channeled his spiritual power. In an instant, his soldiers, his undead legion, appeared before him. Fortunately, the dragon's lair was large enough to contain all the undead warriors. The witch general raised their staffs in unison. A deafening roar echoed through the cavern as brilliant white light shot into the air, reflecting off the shivering ice with an almost blinding glow. The skeletal warriors charged forward, their battle state enhanced. But the moment they rushed in, a wave of freezing air blasted from the massive dragon. It unleashed a wide area of freezing scale, opening its jaws to spew an enormous wave of ice. The temperature inside the cavern plummeted. A thick layer of ice formed over the skeletal warriors on the ground, encasing them completely. Their movements slowed dramatically, as if they had been hit with a curse that sapped their speed. The witch generals continued casting dispel skills without pause, working to free the skeletal warriors from the dragon's freezing grip. Jang Uk and Mook Xiao Xiao are both wearing skeleton armor which protects them from freezing attacks. Freezing itself does have a certain amount of attack power, but it's not that strong. Its real strength lies in its ability to control. But against the witch demon general, it becomes useless. The skeleton general uses the military power skill to remove all debuffs from the legion members and boost their morale. This skill only works on debuffs below level 60. The Ice Demon Dragon roars in anger, and once again, a dense green light radiates from its body. Skill, Heaven Snow Palace. Suddenly, snow starts falling inside the dragon's lair, with snowflakes falling like blades and exploding upon contact with the skeletons. Mu Xiao Xiao freezes stunned. It's snowing. The snowflakes explode again, freezing the skeletons. The Demon Wall General frantically runs around, healing and melting the snow at the same time. The Ice Demon Dragon hovers in the sky, refusing to land. The Skeleton Warrior's effectiveness is too limited, and the only way to deal with it is by relying on the Skeleton Mage to attack. Jang Uk mutters to himself, can't fly. This is troublesome. I still want to grind for a few more runs. I can't waste time here. This can't be the solution. Jang Uk shouted loudly to Mook Xiao Xiao, stay away. She quickly responded, okay. Jang Uk then took out the Thanatos sight with a powerful spiritual energy radiating around him. He yelled, come out. The soul-devouring insect king appeared. A blinding light filled the entire area. The system updated the information. Soul-devouring insect king, soul level, 50 strength, 40,000 agility, 40,000 spirit, 30,000 physique, 50,000 skills, soul devour. Second form, a terrifying scream. Special traits, ignores defense, bypasses physical immunity, devours everything in its path. Jang Uk ordered the soul-devouring insect, go take down that giant for me. The soul-devouring insect quickly charged forward. The Ice Demon Dragon sensed the danger. It refused to land, roaring again and again. The green light around it exploded, much more intense than the previous 2 times. It used its Super Ice Blast ability. As the skill activated, the entire dragon's lair began to shake and blinding light filled the space. The thick layer of ice built up in the lair exploded, crashing down violently. The ice block crashed to the ground again with a deafening roar, exploding like a fireball, releasing a terrifying surge of energy that swept across everything. Jang Uk's skeletal warriors took the full brunt of the falling ice. The skeleton armor flickered and Jang Uk became even more serious. Before, he had thought that the Ice Demon Dragon's abilities were more about control and not about raw destructive power. But looking at it now, that wasn't the case. The attacking power of this skill was incredible, and on top of that, it was a continuous assault. He couldn't even imagine how thick the ice of the dragon's lair was as each layer exploded and fell in an endless cascade. Jang Uk could only rely on the skeleton armor to hold up against the onslaught. Without hesitation, Jang Uk's soul-devouring insect king launched itself at the ice walls, using them as a springboard to propel itself forward with incredible speed, tearing through the air like a bullet. Its target was locked in, Ice Demon Dragon, the massive beast roaring in the sky. In the blink of an eye, the soul-devouring insect king closed in on its target. It opened its grotesque mouth, filled with sharp saw-like teeth, and clamped down hard on the massive body of the Ice Demon Dragon. The sound of flesh being shredded echoed through the air, mixing with the furious roar of the monster. Ice Demon Dragon thrashed wildly, desperately trying to escape the deadly bite. Amid the chaos, it let out a terrifying roar, shattering the eerie silence. Its massive body slammed against the ground, sending shockwaves through the ice, causing the surrounding glaciers to crack and shatter into countless shards. A blizzard of snow filled the sky, obscuring everything from view. Jagged ice fragments hurtled toward Jang Uk and moved Xiao. Jang Uk's sharp, cold eyes narrowed as he swiftly made a decision. He channeled his spiritual power into his palms, recalling the undead legion that had been shielding him. Defend yourself. Jang Uk warned Xiao, but Xiao had yet to react. The sharp ice shards pierced through the ranks of skeleton mages and skeletal warriors. One by one, Jang Uk's skeleton army crumbled into dust, an immense loss. The system notification echoed. 42 skeletal warriors eliminated, 25 skeleton mages eliminated. The shockwaves and ice shards continued their relentless assault toward Jang Uk. He repeatedly infused his spiritual power into his skeleton armor, reinforcing it layer by layer. Cold sweat dripped down his forehead. Thankfully, he had managed to recall most of his undead legion in time. Otherwise, they would have been completely annihilated. Xiao felt the pressure mounting and, overwhelmed by the challenges, shouted loudly from behind, "I'm coming to help." She kicked off the ground and leapt toward the Ice Demon Dragon. Xiao used her stun skill, which had a certain chance of stunning the target for 5 seconds. The cooldown was 1 minute, and against higher-level enemies, the stun duration would be shorter. The Ice Demon Dragon immediately staggered, stunned by her attack. The creature's eyes glowed with streaks of light, and its massive body swayed as if it might collapse any second. Jang Uk watched closely from a distance, carefully observing every movement of the Ice Demon Dragon. When he saw the creature stagger from the hit, he immediately recognized the golden opportunity. A spark of realization flashed in his eyes, filled with decisiveness and cold determination. This is the perfect moment right now. 5 seconds of stun. Got to make the most of this. All undead units attack. Jang Uk wasn't idle either. Soul Flame was already in his hand. At that moment, Xiao threw a firework into the air which exploded and used her collection skill to make the Ice Demon Dragon glow brightly. Her movements were so fast they were almost unbelievable, flowing like clouds drifting and water flowing. Xiao's innate combat instincts were pushed to their absolute limit. Jang Uk's coordination was absolutely flawless. The entire process took less than 0.5 seconds from start to finish. Before the Ice Demon Dragon even hit the ground, the skeleton mage's magical attack had already struck it. The 4 elements, ice, fire, lightning, and wind, unleashed a series of skills. Blizzard of Ferocious Ice, Explosive Fire Magic, 5 Thunder's Divine Strike, and Raging Whirlwind. 5 seconds of stun, and with good timing, they could easily leave the Ice Demon Dragon nearly crippled. Then the first group of skeleton warriors blocked it midair, releasing all their burst skills onto the beast. Next came the second and third groups. By the time the dragon hit the ground, it had already been hit with 4 rounds of bursting attacks from the skeleton warriors. More and more skeleton warriors leaped onto it, battling across every inch of the Ice Demon Dragon's body. Skills were unleashed in wild succession. In just 5 seconds, nearly all the skeleton warriors had used 1 round of skills. The stun effect wore off. After 5 seconds, the Ice Demon Dragon recovered from its stun. A weak, pitiful roar immediately escaped its mouth. The sound to Rim Jang Uk and Mook Xiao Xiao resembled a dying scream. Then the Ice Demon Dragon tried to flee, but Rim Jang Uk wasn't about to let that happen. He shouted, "Not a chance." Soul-devouring Insect King attack. His voice echoed through the icy landscape, carrying unwavering determination. He refused to give the Ice Demon Dragon any chance to escape. Upon receiving its master's command, the soul-devouring Insect King let out an exhilarated roar. With a powerful stomp on the ice, it shot forward like a blur, closing in on the fleeing dragon at an astonishing speed. In an instant, the soul-devouring Insect King was upon its prey. It opened its grotesque maw wide. Crack! A chilling sound rang out, followed by the agonized roar of the Ice Demon Dragon. The soul-devouring Insect King had sunk its fangs deep into the beast's body, tearing away a massive chunk of flesh. Fresh blood gushed out like a crimson fountain, staining the once pristine snow. Grievously wounded, the Ice Demon Dragon lost its balance, stumbling before crashing to the ground. The impact was so powerful that it sent tremors rippling through the frozen land. The beast lay gasping for breath in the snow, its body covered in deep, bleeding wounds. At that very moment, Rim Jang Uk's vast army of skeletal warriors sensed their opportunity. Without hesitation, they surged forward, swarming the dying prey. Hundreds of skeletal warriors armed with sharp weapons surged toward the Ice Demon Dragon like a tidal wave of death. The sound of bones clashing and swords clanging filled the air, blending with the beast's agonized and despairing roars. The Ice Demon Dragon struggled desperately, but it was useless. It couldn't escape the grip of death closing in around it. System notification. Ice Demon Dragon defeated. Experience gained 5,500,000. Receive Dragon Essence X4. Through collection skill, obtain Dragon Essence X4. Dragon Essence has a certain chance to awaken a talent. Unlimited uses, but each talent can only be awakened once. Rim Jang Uk gazed at the hexagonal Dragon Essence, pulsing with an intense energy, and said to Mook Xiao Xiao, "It's all thanks to your skill. Without it, I wouldn't have stood a chance against that thing." Hearing the compliment, Mook Xiao Xiao beamed and replied cheerfully, "You forget, I only learned this skill because of the Earth Gem you gave me. If anything, I should be thanking you." "Then let's keep going." Mook Xiao Xiao jumped excitedly. All right, let's continue." Both of them quickly moved outside. Outside the dungeon, the streaks of light remained unchanged and a gust of wind swept through. Rim Jang Uk and Mook Xiao Xiao stood in the wind, momentarily stunned. Where is everyone? Why isn't there a single person here? No humans, no demons, no dragons. Just then, Mook Xiao Xiao appeared and spoke. "You two finally came back. Since all 3 clans entered the dungeon, they stopped fighting." Rim Jang Uk scratched his head in confusion. "So that's why." 3 seconds later, his expression turned cold. "If that's the case, then let's keep grinding the dungeon." Rim Jang Uk took out a high-tier cooldown talisman that Baek Yuwu had given him and reset the cooldown time for both of them. The high-tier cooldown talisman had been prepared specifically for the demonic dragon palace. Once they had fully recovered, they entered the dungeon again. The moment they stepped inside, a thunderous roar echoed through the air. In front of them stood a towering mountain, pitch black and ominous. Just then, a massive boulder came crashing down, kicking up a thick cloud of dust. Mook Xiao Xiao swallowed hard. "It's the Black Dragon. I think we just ran into the Black Dragon." The moment Rim Jang Uk heard the words Black Demon Dragon, he immediately channeled his spiritual power. Inside the cave, almost no light could be seen. The soul flame burning in his palm became the only source of illumination. The Black Demon Dragon looked even fiercer and more terrifying through the soul flame. Its body was clearly much larger than the Ice Demon Dragon, standing over 40 meters tall and stretching more than 70 meters in length. Its jet black tail was covered in razor-sharp spikes, and the dragon's glossy black scales were incredibly tough. Rim Jang Uk and Mook Xiao Xiao had awakened it. However, it didn't even consider Rim Jang Uk someone so small, worthy of its attention. Its eyes carried a hint of provocation, and a wave of hot air escaped from its nostrils. Suddenly, powerful gusts of wind roared through the dragon's lair. System information. Black Demon Dragon. Hell level leader, level 56. Strength, 150,000. Agility, 60,000. Spirit, 40,000. Constitution, 200,000. Skills, Earthquake Explosion, Dragon Tail Sweep, Wild Collision. Traits, Elemental Damage, 80% Physical Damage Reduction, Curse Resistance, and Enhanced Vitality. This was also a level 56 Hellgrade boss, with total attributes exceeding the Ice Demon Dragon by over 10,000, reaching a staggering 450,000. Although its total attributes are only slightly over 10,000, their distribution is entirely different from the Ice Demon Dragon. The Black Demon Dragon's strength reaches a staggering 150,000, its physique is as high as 200,000. Its dual immunity to elemental and physical damage is an astonishing 80%. This is another powerful boss, excelling in both offense and defense, combined with its unique skills. This means there's a high chance it'll take down the skeletons in an instant. Jang Uk responded to its provocation with action. At the blink of an eye, the Undead Legion appeared and launched an attack. Watching the battle, Jang Uk's heart pounded like a war drum, sensing something was about to go terribly wrong. He shouted, "This isn't good! Fall back now!" During the fight against the Ice Demon Dragon, he had already lost more than 150 skeleton warriors. If things went poorly this time, he would suffer heavy losses again. A shiver ran down Jang Uk's spine. Just as he was about to make his move, the Black Demon Dragon's eyes suddenly flashed with a blinding red light. As expected, it let out a deafening roar and charged straight at the skeleton warriors. It didn't take flight, even though it had wings. Instead, it folded them back and stormed forward on the ground, its entire body engulfed in deep black energy. The darkness enveloped it completely, turning it into an unstoppable fortress that crushed everything in its path, skills, defenses, everything, like a relentless force of destruction. Its ability, Wild Collision. Jang Uk wanted to recall the skeleton warriors, but he was a step too late. His face twisted in frustration. Too late to recall them now. The skeleton warriors were sent flying, and some were crushed head-on. A flood of notifications appeared. 18 skeleton warriors eliminated. 11 skeleton mages eliminated. Jang Uk was completely stunned. This monster didn't follow any combat techniques. It just unleashed its skills directly, and the sheer power of those skills was overwhelming. The Black Demon Dragon activated Wild Collision, charging into the group of skeleton warriors with unstoppable force. Suddenly, it came to a halt. A sharp glint flashed in its eyes as its massive dragon foot stomped down hard on the ground. An ability, Earthquake Explosion. The dragon's lair is shaking violently. This is bad. Jang Uk's eyes widened in shock. He immediately commanded the skeleton warriors to retreat. But it was too late. The recall failed. The skeleton warriors had already been caught off guard by the sudden attack, leaving them unable to escape. The impact from Earthquake Explosion was devastating, even more terrifying than Wild Collision. Countless skeletons had already fallen in this wave of destruction. 44 skeleton warriors eliminated. 28 skeleton mages eliminated. Jang Uk gritted his teeth fiercely. The talisman on the back of his hand glowed brightly. Enhanced troops activated. The attributes of the Undead Legion surged wildly, their sheer strength and resilience allowing them to withstand the skill attacks of the Black Demon Dragon. As the assault continued, the skeletal warriors launched a fierce counterattack. The skeletal mages also unleashed relentless strikes, following Jang Uk's command with deadly curse spells. Meanwhile, the deceased hero focused all their energy on healing. At that moment, Xiao suddenly charged forward. Jang Uk shouted, "Do you have a death wish? Your full defense cooldown hasn't ended yet. If you rush in now, you'll take a direct hit from the Black Demon Dragon. Even your skeleton armor might not hold up." But Xiao didn't seem to hear him. The fire of battle burned in her eyes. Her innate combat instincts fully activated, allowing her to perceive details others couldn't. The Black Demon Dragon's skill attacks were completely flawless. There were blind spots. As she sprinted forward, she identified an opening and slipped through. By the time she reached the Black Demon Dragon, she had avoided every attack. This time it was Jang Uk's turn to be stunned. No wonder, I always felt something was off before. So she has an innate combat talent. I never imagined it would be this powerful. Xiao threw a firework, turning the Black Demon Dragon into a flickering spectacle of light. The Black Demon Dragon locked its gaze onto Xiao, its fury instantly fixating on her. With a deafening roar, its tail swept across with unimaginable speed. Dragon tail sweep. Jang Uk stood frozen, watching the scene unfold. The boss was too fast. Even instinctive combat skills couldn't dodge such an attack. She didn't dodge. Instead, gripping her massive dagger, she swung it fiercely at the Black Demon Dragon's tail, using her only combat skill, Stun Strike. Xiao shouted, "Stun for me!" But the Black Demon Dragon's attack was too powerful. With a loud crash, Xiao was sent flying, slamming into the cave wall. Cracks spread across her skeleton armor. Seeing this, Jang Uk let out a sigh of relief. Thank goodness, with skeleton armor, she won't be seriously hurt. As long as the skeleton armor held up, Xiao wouldn't die. Then, to his surprise, the Black Demon Dragon actually fell into a stunned state. Stun Strike had worked. Excited, Jang Uk gathered his spiritual power. What kind of luck is this? I have to make the most of these 5 seconds. These are 5 full seconds of enhanced troops mode. In these 5 seconds, Jang Uk had complete control over Black Demon Dragon's fate. Even though it could resist up to 80% of incoming damage, it couldn't withstand attacks that multiplied exponentially. Jang Uk was also part of the offensive chain, unleashing soul flames at maximum speed. The warrior skeleton went berserk, activating its Rage Strike skill. The mage skeleton did the same. The entire Undead Legion concentrated all their attacks on Black Demon Dragon within those 5 seconds. Elemental mages of ice, fire, lightning, and wind unleashed a barrage of spells. Blizzard of Ferocious Ice, Explosive Fire Magic, 5 Thunder's Divine Strike, and Raging Whirlwind. No matter how powerful it was still just a level 56 Hell Tier boss. Even the strongest life force had its limits. Under the relentless storm of attacks, Black Demon Dragon let out a furious roar. Before its stun effect could wear off, it collapsed with an unwilling cry. Mook Xiao Xiao rushed forward, excitement in her voice. Did we do it? Jang Uk gave her a small smile, admiration in his eyes. Your skills have once again turned the tide of battle. Mook Xiao Xiao smiled. I didn't expect my luck to be this good. The sister responded. Black Demon Dragon defeated. Experience plus 5,500,000. Reward. Dragon King Certificate, 6 Dragon Essences. Obtain 6 additional Dragon Essences through collection skill. Dragon King Certificate is soulbound. The certificate grants access to the Dragon King Palace dungeon, located on the lower level of the Eternal Trials. It is directly bound to the soul and cannot be traded. The certificate looks like a small dragon statue fitting in the palm of a hand, with intricate details visible from every angle. Jang Uk was also surprised that the Black Demon Dragon dropped something like the Dragon King Certificate. He kept asking, what is this? A key to the lower level Dragon King Palace dungeon. I didn't expect the Black Demon Dragon to drop this. Since it leads to the lower level, I'll check out the Dragon King Palace once I get there. Mook Xiao Xiao said excitedly. Let's keep going. We should be able to clear out all the demon dragons. Jang Uk gave a nod, and the two of them used a teleportation talisman. The next moment, inside Dragon Palace's Wind Dragon Den, Mook Xiao Xiao broke into a cold sweat as soon as she looked around. She gasped. Looks like we're up against the Wind Dragon this time. The Wind Dragon roared throughout the entire cave, its howls never ceasing day or night. Withering wind like a blade, the walls of the cave had been worn smooth, shining like mirrors. The Wind Dragon itself was surrounded by a blue light, its wings beating powerfully as it hovered in the air. Each flap of its wings created fierce whirlwinds. The skeleton warriors struggled against the gusts, slowly making their way forward, their movements becoming sluggish. It was a difficult task to get close, and every time they did, the force of the wind kept them from launching any direct attacks on the Wind Dragon. The wind element was thick and dense, swirling into visible gusts that wrapped around the creature. It was as if the Wind Dragon was wearing a suit of armor made entirely of wind, pushing back any skeleton warriors who dared to come near. Mook Xiao Xiao, holding a giant mace, shouted, even the Black Demon Dragon can't stand up to us. Little Wind Dragon, you better just surrender. The Wind Dragon's traits are similar to the Ice Demon Dragon, but it's clearly more difficult to deal with than the Ice Demon Dragon. Its wind armor is much more complicated than the protective cage. Even the magic of the Mist Wizard, with all its powerful spells, gets blown away by the strong winds. Jang Uk has this feeling of not knowing where to strike. Luckily, its attack skills aren't that strong. The wind element's range is huge, almost like a barrage of cannon fire. Every attack could cover the entire dragon's lair. Both sides were at a standoff. Mook Xiao Xiao said, how about we give it a try? Anyway, the Wind Dragon doesn't have a critical hit ability. Plus, I have my skeleton armor for protection. My full defensive cooldown just finished, and with my battle instincts, I shouldn't be in any danger. Jang Uk placed the skeleton armor on her. Be careful. Mook Xiao Xiao nodded, her fighting spirit rising in her eyes, and her instincts kicked in. To her, the entire world seemed to shift. Mook Xiao Xiao charged toward the Wind Dragon, weaving through gaps in the wind element's attacks. She dodged when she could. She avoided when she had the chance. And when there was no way to avoid, she swung the mace in her hand to smash through the wind element's attacks. She charged right in front of the Wind Dragon, suddenly leaping into the air. The wind armor exploded with a loud roar, and the fierce wind, sharp as a blade, slammed into her. The wind element glowed with a blue light, and every strike was clearly visible as it formed. Mook Xiao Xiao shouted, let me stun it. She activated her stun skill. With a loud crash, her mace slammed down, but the Wind Dragon didn't budge. The stun effect didn't trigger. The Wind Dragon's gaze was full of disdain. It thought that Mook Xiao Xiao wouldn't be able to stun it. No one could break through its wind armor. The force of the knockback effect was no joke. At that moment, the Wind Dragon showed its arrogance and pride. It let out a roar, almost like it was mocking Mook Xiao Xiao for not knowing her limits. A little power like that can't possibly do any real damage to me. Mook Xiao Xiao was a bit startled, but she wasn't stunned. 3 seconds later, she regained her composure. But my skill only takes 1 minute to cool down. Here it comes again. Mook Xiao Xiao was discouraged. If one try didn't work, she'd just try again. 5 seconds later, she swung her mace to stun again and still no effect. The Wind Dragon snorted again, but Mook Xiao Xiao remained determined, ready to use her skill once more to try and stun it. She gathered all of her strength into one final blow, and with a loud thud, the wind suddenly stopped. This time, the Wind Dragon was stunned. It groaned as it fell, crashing into its throne. The wind armor around it also weakened, gradually fading away. It worked. Rim Jang Uk's eyes lit up. Now it's my turn. The undead army of Rim Jang Uk appeared once again. The skeleton warriors who had been preparing for this moment pounced on the Wind Dragon like hungry beasts. Finally, the skeleton mages could unleash their spells without any hindrance. At the same time, lightning damage struck down and the soul flame was triggered in sync. Mook Xiao Xiao didn't hold back either. She swung her mace relentlessly, muttering to herself, "You look down on me, you mock me, and now you're going to get a beating." She wasn't foolish. She could clearly feel the Wind Dragon's disdain. The skeleton warriors charged forward, unleashing their powerful axe skills, sending out red flashes that cut through the remaining wind elements and brutally slashed into the Wind Dragon. 5 seconds might seem like nothing to an ordinary person, but for the skeleton warriors, it was more than enough to launch a devastating attack. It was enough for the skeleton mages to cast 5 rounds of concentrated fire. With this opportunity, Rim Jang Uk was sure he could severely injure the Wind Dragon. Without the protection of the wind armor, the Wind Dragon's flesh was torn and shredded, leaving it in a pitiful state. 5 seconds later, a heartbreaking scream echoed through the dragon's lair, filled with both agony and rage. In just 5 short seconds, it had endured unimaginable damage. The overwhelming attack quickly drained its strength, and it was ultimately brought down. Mook Xiao Xiao turned back to Rim Jang Uk, excited. "I'm getting better and better at this. Let's keep going." Rim Jang Uk smiled and replied, "All right." The two of them reset the cooldown time and continued fighting through the dungeon. Over and over again, the speed varied, sometimes fast, sometimes slow. Rim Jang Uk faced all sorts of demonic dragons. Poisonous demonic dragons, fire demonic dragons, lightning demonic dragons, and every kind of elemental demonic dragon you could imagine. Rim Jang Uk and Mook Xiao Xiao fought them all. Among them, the lightning demonic dragon gave him some trouble, taking nearly an hour to defeat. But with Mook Xiao Xiao's help, the other demonic dragons were quickly wiped out. She smiled widely, proudly showing off their achievements to Rim Jang Uk. "We've cleared the demonic dragon palace dungeon a full 8 times now." Rim Jang Uk was just as pleased. "Yeah, with your collection skill, we've gathered 72 dragon essences now." After they finished the 8th run, Rim Jang Uk noticed a change at the dungeon entrance. The energy around it was starting to become unstable. Just then, Mo Meng Yu flew in and shouted, "Jang Uk, the girl's sweating. Hurry up and leave, both of you. The dungeon's about to disappear, and the demons and dragons will soon come out." Suddenly, Rim Jang Uk's eyes turned cold, and he replied, "We're not leaving yet." Mo Meng Yu's eyes lit up when he saw this and asked, "Are you really planning to do this?" Rim Jang Uk's killing intent flared, and he answered briefly, "Block the door, kill him." The legion of undead appeared on the ground, surrounding the entrance to the dungeon. Rim Jang Uk summoned his army, the numbers overwhelming. In his mind, he had already made his plan. He formed a team with Mo Meng Yu, gathered all of his spiritual power, and then said to Mook Xiao Xiao, "Remember to use your collection skill later." Mook Xiao Xiao clenched her fist tightly and responded with determination, "Don't worry, not a single one will escape." A moment later, a space shifted as a team exited the dungeon. Rim Jang Uk immediately suggested to the team, "Sorry, please leave here quickly." The team leader, initially dismissive, replied, "Why should we? We could still run the dungeon one more time." However, after noticing Rim Jang Uk's cold, murderous glare at the massive undead army, the team leader began to falter. He quickly recognized Rim Jang Uk in his mind. Reluctantly, he agreed, "Fine, we'll leave right now." The other team members immediately started protesting. "Leader, why do we have to leave?" The leader answered simply, "Because he's Rim Jang Uk." One of the members, dissatisfied, responded, "So what if he's Rim Jang Uk? He may be strong, but he can't just block the entrance to the dungeon, can he?" This member had heard of Rim Jang Uk's reputation and knew he was powerful, but even so, he felt this situation couldn't be right. The team leader replied briefly, "You'll find out why soon enough." At this moment, Rim Jang Uk's army of the undead had surrounded the exit of the demonic dragon palace. Channeling an immense amount of spiritual power, Jang Uk shouted, "Get ready, they're about to come out." The space inside the dungeon is distorting more and more. Once the dungeon disappears, everyone inside will appear right here. Jang Uk was fully prepared. The battle rune on the back of his hand began to heat up. He made his move, activating the enhanced troop skill. The power of his undead army surged tremendously. As for the other human teams still inside the dungeon, Jang Uk could only do his best to avoid accidentally hurting them. He ignored the water and wine skeleton mages, leaving only the fire and lightning skeleton mages behind. The skills of the water and wind mages were area attacks, and under the enhancement of enhanced troops, even the slightest touch could cause injury. Mu Xiao also tightened her grip on her mace, her other hand glowing continuously as her collection skill was ready for action. Then, Jang Uk used his skeleton fang skill. The sharp skeletal fangs shot from the ground, ready to deliver a surprise and lethal strike. A soft sound echoed, and the whirlpool at the entrance to the dungeon shattered like a bubble. The next moment, the space trembled and violently distorted, and every living creature inside the dungeon was thrown out. The demons of the dragon race stood frozen, not understanding what was happening. What's going on? Red light fell, and the slow curse took effect immediately. Mu Xiao's enhanced troop skill, the fireworks she collected, and Jang Uk's skeleton fangs all exploded at once in a dazzling display. The abyssal demons and the dragon race's extraordinary abilities took the full force of the deadly attacks. Horrible screams filled the air. Jang Uk's skeleton warriors relentlessly slashed the way. It was at this moment that the dragon race and the demons finally realized the problem. Someone's blocking the entrance. One of the dragon race members shouted, eyes wide as they stared at Jang Uk. "It's him! It's Jang Uk!" Men Yu screamed out to warn everyone. Human team, hurry up and get out. Human team, quickly leave. The human team immediately stepped aside and started running. Jang Uk, holding the familiar red orb in his hand, grew larger as he sighed. It's been a while since we've had an explosion like this. Boom, boom, boom. A series of thunderous explosions rocked the air. The entire space was bathed in red as Jang Uk's ultimate skill and the skeletons unleashed their full power. When the team first witnessed the scene, they froze in shock. Their eyes were wide open and their mouths hummed agape. So this is his true goal. The power of destruction is incredible. These are all demons and dragons above level 50. Why do they look like cakes sliced into pieces? How are they so weak? No, it's just that Jang Uk is too strong. We could only say that Jang Uk's skeleton army is incredibly powerful, and he himself is already so strong. These monsters are in real trouble. It's not easy to obtain dragon essence, yet they couldn't hold on to it. Jang Uk really get the jackpot this time. Yeah, he's getting all the rewards, military merit, experience, dragon essence. He's definitely coming out ahead. 2 seconds later, only a few survivors remained. The Deep Abyss demon released a burst of dark light, and the abyssal energy surged, pushing all the surrounding skeletons back. It broke through the encirclement, its wounded body soaring into the sky. Mo Mang Yu, riding the Holy Beast unicorn, chased after it, casting a skill to prevent flight. Boom, boom, boom. The loud explosions echoed one after another as everything was sent to meet death by Jang Uk. 5 seconds later, the battle stopped. The battlefield suddenly became eerily silent, with no sound except for the cold wind brought by the skeletons. Jang Uk felt the powerful energy of the dragon essence. This time he had gained a full 270,000 military merit points, but the biggest reward was still this. Dragon essence could awaken a talent. With the 72 pieces he had before, he now had a total of 273 pieces of dragon essence, an incredible number. Jang Uk turned to the two girls who were grinning widely and said, "Let's leave here first." Both of them replied at the same time, "Okay." The humans around them were curious and asked, after killing so many of the dragon tribe, how much dragon essence did he actually take? Seeing that the person next to him was also intrigued by the dragon essence, another guy nearby warned, "Don't think too much about it. If you have any bad ideas, his skeletons won't show mercy." The guy shuddered at the mention of the skeletons and quickly responded, "I wouldn't dare." With that, Jang Uk left with a large amount of dragon essence, and no one dared to stop him. Some people were impressed, while others were envious, but if anyone had considered stepping forward to stop him, the answer would have been clear. No one dared. Just looking at the tragic scene of the demons and the dragon tribe was enough to show that Jang Uk's skeletons were ruthless. After walking for about half an hour, they were more than 10 kilometers away from the battlefield. The three of them found a clean spot to rest. Jang Uk said, "You two should use the dragon essence to awaken your talents. Who wants to go first?" He was talking about using dragon essence to awaken a talent. The success rate could be high or low. It was unpredictable and had to be tried with each piece. Right now, he had 273 pieces of dragon essence, which was more than enough for all three of them to use. Mang Yu immediately responded, "I'll go first. It's just the right time for me to awaken a latent ability for the second time. It won't affect the chances of the dragon essence working. Each dragon essence has a 10% to 15% chance of awakening a talent, meaning that for every 7 to 10 dragon essences, one should be able to awaken a talent. But this is just an estimated probability. Some people might need up to 20 dragon essences to awaken a talent, while others may succeed with just one. In short, as long as you have enough dragon essence, you're sure to awaken a talent eventually." She was very curious, but also unsure of how many pieces I would need to awaken a talent. After saying this, she picked up a dragon essence and activated one of them. The dragon essence suddenly erupted in a soft glow, forming a ring of light that surrounded Mang Yu's body. A strange power began to spread, with the energy of the dragon essence being extremely complex. Inside, there was energy from the abyss, energy from the dragon race, and even several other types of energy that were hard to describe. When all these energies blended together, they created its distinctive form. After a while, the glow from the dragon essence faded. She lowered her head and said, "It failed." Jang Uk took another piece from the pile and said to Mang Yu, "It's okay. There's plenty of dragon essence." She politely replied, "Thank you." Jang Uk, being very straightforward, said, "You did play a part in this. Keep going." The third block, the fourth block, and so on, until all 10 blocks of dragon essence were used. Mang Yu still couldn't awaken any talent. However, Jang Uk noticed an increasing flow of energy, particularly from Mang Yu. It was the result of the continuous use of dragon essence in her body, building up gradually. Jang Uk pulled out another 10 blocks of dragon essence and said, "Keep going." Okay, Mang Yu didn't hesitate. She took the 11th and 12th blocks of dragon essence. Jang Uk could feel the energy from the dragon essence growing stronger around her. Finally, when activating the 16th block of dragon essence, the energy surrounding Mang Yu reached its peak, as if it had broken through some kind of barrier. The energy exploded. Jang Uk's eyes lit up. She had succeeded. Mang Yu glowed brilliantly. Her eyes closed as she slowly floated into the air. She looked like a beautiful divine goddess. At that moment, Mang Yu radiated an unimaginable beauty. Her talent had awakened. Holy Flame. After about half a minute, Mang Yu gently floated back to the ground. Xiao, curious, quickly asked, "So, what talent did you awaken?" Mang Yu's eyes sparkled with happiness. "I awakened the Holy Flame. From now on, all my attacks will be accompanied by the effect of the Holy Flame, greatly increasing my offensive power, especially against demons." Mang Yu was originally a Holy Spirit summoner, and all her skills were imbued with divine power. This divine power was particularly effective against demons, increasing her damage by at least 50%. Now, with the addition of the Holy Flame, her attacks against demons were even stronger. The Holy Flame talent was a perfect match for her class, truly flawless. Xiao smiled and congratulated her. "This talent is really great. It suits you perfectly." At that moment, Mang Yu was in a great mood, pleased with the Holy Flame talent. "Thanks, now it's your turn." Xiao nodded and picked up a dragon essence, activating it. The first attempt failed, just as expected. She then picked up a second dragon essence, and once again it failed. Having learned from Mang Yu's earlier experience, Xiao wasn't discouraged. She simply picked up another dragon essence. After all, Jang Uk had plenty of dragon essences, so she wasn't concerned about using them. Jang Uk could feel the special energy around Xiao, which was growing stronger with each dragon essence she used. When she reached her 5th dragon essence, Jang Uk suddenly had a hunch it would take 12 tries. Sure enough, when Xiao activated the 12th dragon essence, the circle of light changed. Mang Yu fixed her gaze, her eyes widening. It worked. Xiao soared into the air just like Mang Yu. Her appearance was just as striking as Mang Yu's, and her figure was equally impressive. At that moment, she looked absolutely stunning. With her awakened talent, everything about her was perfect. Half a minute later, Xiao landed back on the ground, completing her awakening process. Before Jang Uk or Mang Yu could ask, she happily revealed her talent. "I awakened the Bullseye talent. When activated, my skills can hit the target 100%, and the special effects of my skills can also trigger with 100% effectiveness." After hearing this, Jang Uk slightly twitched the corner of his mouth and said, "This girl with the massive mace seems to be getting more and more overpowered. This talent, combined with her stunning skills at stunning enemies, really makes her a terrifying force. With her in the team, boss fights might become way easier." Xiao didn't even notice the strange look in Jang Uk's eyes. She excitedly cheered. "Isn't my talent amazing?" Bo Meng-yu didn't know that Mook Xiao Xiao had stunning skills, but just hearing about her new talent was enough to know it was impressive. Any skill that guarantees a 100% hit is obviously a powerful talent. Mook Xiao Xiao continued, Jang Uk, it's your turn now. Rim Jang Uk took out a dragon essence and a flash of light sparkled. He began activating the dragon essence. After using 2 dragon essences in a row, Rim Jang Uk quickly realized he needed a total of 8. So he took out 6 more dragon essences and activated them all at once. The 6 dragon essences erupted in bright light surrounding Rim Jang Uk. He could feel himself being enveloped by a special kind of energy. When he activated the 8th and final dragon essence, the energy peaked and with a loud explosion, it detonated. Its talent awakened. The chain of life was summoned. Within a certain range, a chain of life would form between the summoned creatures. All creatures within the range would share the same fate, either living or dying together. The range was 20 meters. Rim Jang Uk was slightly surprised by this newfound ability. This meant that all skeletons within a 20-meter range would either live or die together. He started thinking about how he would handle a monster with a special powerful attack but limited range. If he didn't encounter an instant kill boss, the skeleton's death rate would drop significantly. Suddenly, Jang Uk received a notification. The system detected the host awakening a new talent and began optimizing it. Rim Jang Uk was stunned. After the system first showed up when latent abilities were awakened, it never displayed a notification like this again. While optimizing his talent, he didn't expect the system to appear when he awakened a talent. He was curious about how his talent would be optimized, but he trusted the system wouldn't disappoint him. In the eyes of Mo Mang-yu and Mook Xiao Xiao, the light that had surrounded Rim Jang Uk at first began to fade. It seemed like his awakening was about to end, but then suddenly, the light grew stronger, brighter than before. Mook Xiao Xiao exclaimed in shock, what's happening? Wasn't the awakening almost over? Why is it suddenly flaring up like this? Mo Mang-yu fell into deep thought. She searched through her knowledge, but couldn't find any explanation for the situation before them. At that moment, the only thing they could do was wait. A few minutes later, the system completed the optimization of the talent. The talent's summon life link had been optimized. Now all summoned creatures would be linked by life, sharing damage and healing together. When Rim Jang Uk saw the newly improved talent, he was stunned. The talent, after optimization, was incredibly powerful, far stronger than the previous red summon life link. It had no range limit, being that as long as the creature was one of his summons, they would all share the damage they took. All of my skeletons will die together if they must and live together if they can. This is the true god-level talent. In the blink of an eye, Rim Jang Uk saw 2 pairs of wide, curious eyes staring at him. Wait, no, there are 3 pairs. One of them belongs to the Holy Spirit Unicorn Beast. Mook Xiao Xiao asked him, sounding like an eager child full of curiosity, just what kind of talent did you awaken? Rim Jang Uk didn't hold back. He briefly explained his newfound ability. Summoning Lifelink. Such a powerful talent, trying to kill off all of your summons would be nearly impossible. Mo Mang-yu couldn't believe what he was hearing, nor could he fully grasp the terrifying potential of Rim Jang Uk's power. Rim Jang Uk thought to himself, though, if I run into a boss like an ancient Luan or something, I'd still probably lose. It's not that he lacked confidence, but after analyzing the characteristics and skills of ancient Luans, he had come to a logical conclusion. Unless he could kill it before he used its ultimate skill, he would have to use his enhanced troop's skill to wipe it out instantly. Maybe he could pull it off, but he wasn't foolish enough to try. He wasn't about to do something reckless like hurting himself while trying to take down an enemy. Rim Jang Uk asked, where are you all heading next? He's finished all the tasks Baek Yua 1 gave him, so he can head home now. Mo Mang-yu replied, I'm going to keep leveling up here for a while longer. Mook Xiao Xiao's eyes showed a hint of reluctance. I have to go back to the Knight's squad. You and the others need me. Indeed, a collection skill master could significantly boost the team's income. Clearing a dungeon once could double their earnings. Moreover, with Mook Xiao Xiao's current abilities, she was no longer just a human tool. Especially when fighting bosses, she would surely leave others in awe. The 2 girls used teleportation talismans. One flew off on a unicorn, and the other disappeared in a flash. Rim Jang Uk watched them leave and muttered, if fate allows, we'll meet again. I'll head back to Shenseea first and catch up with the master. Rim Jang Uk took out the teleportation talisman scroll that Baek Yua 1 had given him. This was the scroll used to leave the eternal trials. He was about to activate it when he suddenly looked up, sensing something was off. It seemed like something was happening. In the sky, a group of black dots was heading straight toward him. Then, a black beam of light shot down from above like a black spear filled with abyssal energy. The spear flew as fast as lightning, striking with deadly precision. The blink of an eye, it traveled thousands of meters through the sky and hit Rim Jang Uk without a single miscalculation. The spear unleashed a powerful explosion, shaking his skeleton armor. It then flew back to the enemy's hand. From the pressure the skeleton armor endured, it was clear that this spear was incredibly powerful, on par with the Crimson Moon Demon. But even with this spear, it wouldn't be enough to kill him. Rim Jang Uk looked up at the sky and muttered, "This spear packs quite a punch." A group of elite demons from energy, all of them likely above level 55. I didn't expect to have a chance to rack up some more military merit before leaving. He then took out the scroll teleportation talisman. Activating it would take a bit of time. After all, this wasn't a regular teleportation talisman. It was one that could tear through space. With that in mind, he decided to take care of the enemy first. He had already seen that a group of demons was approaching. Rim Jang Uk activated his Poison Star Ring skill, level 10, which created a toxic damage field within a 10-meter radius. It dealt 100 damage per second, lasting for 10 seconds. Rim Jang Uk quietly calculated, "With a boost to my innate abilities, my poison skill can now spread up to 100 meters, dealing 1,000 damage per second. It can last for 100 seconds. The speed of the demons in the sky will immediately slow down. They'll start shouting, 'This is a poison skill. We need to find a way to bring them down.'" Rim Jang Uk pointed towards the sky, activating the Slow Curse. The Slow Curse has an extremely wide range, covering up to 7,000 meters. Chains of light wrapped tightly around the demons. This was a curse. The demons hit by the Slow Curse couldn't escape in time and were poisoned one by one. They began emitting a green poisonous gas from their bodies. The demons screamed in fear. "This is a curse. My speed is so slow now. Is he human or a boss? How can he use both poison and curse skills?" Suddenly, one demon showing its sharp fangs bit down hard on its own arm and soared into the air. Its red fluid shot out, quickly covering the rest of the demons below. A sound rang out as a new curse appeared on all the demons. Defense continues to drop sharply. Seeing this, a demon nearby growled, "Purple demon, what are you doing?" The abyssal purple demon was a cursed demon. He gritted his teeth and replied, "I'm using a different curse to cover Rim Jang Uk's curse. My curse only weakens defense. It won't stop us from killing Rim Jang Uk. At any given time, only one curse can exist. This guy replaced the slowdown curse with his own, so no demon is blaming him for it. Now their speed is back to normal." Watching the situation unfold, Rim Jang Uk clicked his tongue. "Smart move, but reducing defense? Isn't that basically asking for death?" From above, the purple demon shouted proudly, "Rim Jang Uk, you're as good as dead. You've killed so many of our demons. Abyssal won't let you get away. The Demon King has given orders. No matter what, you must die. Accept your fate." The demons were closing in, but suddenly something changed. A demon screamed out. They were confused, but what's happening? Sharp bones shot up from the ground, piercing through the demons. It was the skeleton fangs. The demons panicked when they saw their teammate killed, all of them overwhelmed with fear. "This isn't good, we need to run." When Rim Jang Uk saw an enemy corpse floating in the air, he made a bold decision. To be on the safe side, he set off a few more explosions. The familiar deadly red sphere appeared again, filled with spiritual energy. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of multiple explosions echoed, and a series of skeleton-like spikes shot up from below, flooding the space with a deep red hue, and thick smoke filled the air. After a while, the smoke began to dissipate, and the area fell into silence. Rim Jang Uk stepped forward, thinking that they must all be dead by now. But suddenly his eyes caught something, and he flinched in surprise. "Humph, there's still one demon left behind the smoke, so it's you." The demon holding the spear glared viciously, its whole body enveloped in dark light. The light was coming from the spear it held. The weapon's hilt was completely black. Rim Jang Uk had been attacked by such a spear before, and he knew just how powerful the weapon's strike was. Not only did it pack a tremendous offensive power, but it also had remarkable defensive abilities. The demon, gripping the spear, smiled wickedly and said crazily, "I didn't expect you to be this strong. No wonder the Demon King specifically wanted you dead. If I can't kill you, then we'll both die together. Remember this, the one who killed you is the Black Sky Demon Prince." When it finished speaking, the black light spread violently, filling the entire cave. "This is bad." Rim Jang Uk felt a wave of tension in his chest and immediately pulled back all of his skeletons. There was a loud explosion as the spear and the demon detonated at the same time. Rim Jang Uk's skeleton armor shattered into pieces, and the level 64 demon self-destructed. It was its most powerful attack, unleashing all of its life force. At that moment, the spear in his hand also exploded, its power almost on par with the corpse explosion. Rim Jang Uk's skeleton armor was completely destroyed, and his body was slammed hard against the wall by an overwhelming force. The cave collapsed, and the entire mountain came down with the blast. In the deep abyss of the world, shrouded in dark blue flames, this vast world has its strengths and weaknesses, its good places, and its bad. The deeper the fiery pit, the richer the energy, but is also more heavily guarded by powerful demons. Where the dark blue flames turn to pitch black, there stands a grand and magnificent palace. This palace is even more vast and splendid than the palace of the enchanting Demon King. Breathing heavily could be heard coming from within the palace. Who cares to kill my son? In the name of the Black Sky Demon King, I seal with the soul abyss. Rise again. The dark blue flames beneath the palace began to boil and roar like a volcano erupting, shooting straight up into the sky, swallowing the palace in a sea of fire. In the flickering flames, a high-ranking demon appeared. At first, there was just an illusion, but it gradually took shape. Finally, the dark purple flames returned to normal, leaving only the demon behind. The Black Sky Demon Prince was resurrected from the fire abyss, and after a few minutes, he fully materialized. The Black Sky Demon Prince respectfully bowed and said, "I greet you, Father." The Black Sky Demon King nodded and immediately pressed, "Who killed you?" The Black Sky Demon Prince answered, "It was me. I self-destructed." He recounted what had happened, remembering the moment of his suicide, his heart still pounding in his chest. The Black Sky Demon King listened patiently and then said, "I see. A necromancer from the human race, huh? A young talent like that must be a real treasure for humans. And with the energy of the enchanting Demon King on him, it seems that another Demon King has already taken an interest in him." The space around them suddenly shook. The fire realm shifted with the Black Sky Demon King's mood warping constantly. Each movement of the realm had a huge impact on everything around it. After a long pause, the Black Sky Demon King spoke again. "The Necromancer, the new extraordinary abilities of the human race, he's not bad. He's probably a talented one with those powers. Perhaps he's not dead after all. Humans will definitely protect such a genius, but even if he does come back to life, it might take him at least a year to fully recover. For now, you should focus on healing. Once you're fully recovered, then you can continue training to make up for lost time." As soon as he finished speaking, a single strand of hair fell from the Black Sky Demon King. The strand transformed into a dark spear in midair and then dropped into the hands of the Black Sky Demon Prince. The Black Sky Demon Prince respectfully took it and said, "As you command." "Does it have the energy of the enchanting demon? It looks like I should pay a visit to the enchanting Demon King." Back at Jang Uk's location, the scene was nothing but a pile of rubble. Skeleton warriors were digging through the broken rocks, trying to pull Jang Uk out. It was the first time Jang Uk had ever experienced such an explosion, and strangely, he felt exhilarated. A level 64 demon had taken its own life using an unnamed weapon, the destructive power of which was beyond imagination. The skeleton armor couldn't withstand its force for even a second. An attack of this scale had only happened twice before in Jang Uk's memory. Once was the death beam of the blazing Demon King, and the other time was the black flame meteorite from the ancient Luan. This was the first time someone else had blown him apart, but thankfully, the life-summon connection absorbed the damage. Jang Uk looked at the condition of the skeleton in the summoned space. The skeleton and deceased hero had both suffered severe damage. The golden skeleton of skeleton was covered in cracks. The deceased hero wasn't any better, with injuries spread across his wrinkled skin. Although he wasn't dead, he had taken serious damage. Over half of him was already harmed. If it weren't for the summoned life connection through the transfer of damage, at least half of his undead legion would have been wiped out by now. The cost had been enormous. Now the undead legion was badly injured, but as long as they were in the summoning space, they would recover quickly. Jang Uk let out a deep sigh and said, "It's time to head back." He activated a scroll of teleportation talisman. The scroll automatically unfolded, shining brightly. A magic circle for teleportation quickly appeared beneath his feet. To leave the Eternal Trials, he had to travel through a long stretch of space. Teleportation stones weren't effective for such long distances, so using a magic circle teleportation talisman was necessary. 2 minutes later, the magic circle for teleportation glowed brightly, transporting Jang Uk away. As he passed through 2 different spaces, the experience felt completely different to him. A smile crept onto the corner of his lips. A few minutes later, Jang Uk's feet touched the ground. The familiar scent of tea and the sound of wind rustling through the bamboo forest greeted him. He had returned to the Bai Shen courtyard. Mang Ban was drinking tea alone. Without looking up, he asked, "You're back?" Jang Uk bowed respectfully to Mang Ban. "Greetings, Mang Senior." Mang Ban nodded and replied, "Rest for now. Your master will be back soon." "Yes, Mang Darren." Jang Uk walked over to the tea table and began preparing tea for Mang Ban. Meanwhile, on the first battlefield inside the Hall of Heroic Souls, Baek Hua-won and Mok Sing-hai were still sitting in the same spot. During this time, neither of them had gone anywhere. At this point, Rim Jang Uk's soul imprint was much stronger than it had been when he first arrived at the Eternal Trials. This meant his level had risen significantly. Mo Mang-yu's level had also increased a bit. Knowing that both Rim Jang Uk and Mo Mang-yu were safe, Baek Hua-won looked relatively at ease. Suddenly, Baek Hua-won smiled and said, "He's back. I guess I'll head out first." As Rim Jang Uk returned to Bai Shin's courtyard, his soul imprint changed again. Baek Hua-won felt the shift. Mo Mang-yu had not yet returned, but there was no danger for her either. Mo Sing-hai turned and said, "Good, he's back. How about we go together? I'd like to see your disciple and check out just how much of a genius he really is." He was a bit curious about Rim Jang Uk. Baek Hua-won had high standards if someone could become his disciple and was even considered to have extraordinary abilities. That person had to be a true genius. But just how powerful was this genius? Mo Sing-hai wanted to find out. He was also curious about who was stronger, Rim Jang Uk or his own granddaughter. Baek Hua-won laughed loudly. "All right, then let's go and see what that guy is hardest at the Eternal Trials." After Baek Hua-won and Mo Sing-hai left, the door to the Hall of Soul Heaven slowly closed. The Hall of Soul Heaven regained its solemn appearance. Only a handful of humans were allowed to enter the Hall of Soul Heaven. During the time Rim Jang Uk was at the Eternal Trials, only Baek Hua-won and Mok Sing-hai were inside the Hall of Soul Heaven. No one else had entered. A few minutes later, Baek Hua-won and Mok Sing-hai returned to Bai Shin's courtyard. Rim Jang Uk was startled to see the two figures and a mount, carefully observing the old man in front of him. Rim Jang Uk silently recalled the unique Saint Thunder. Could this person be Mok Sing-hai, a legendary summoner and grandfather of Mo Mang-yu? Seeing that Rim Jang Uk was still in one piece, Baek Hua-won smiled brightly and said, "You little brat, you're not bad. You've already reached level 35. Rim Jang Uk respectfully bowed to Baek Hua-won. Student pays respects to master. He then bowed to Mo Sing-hai. This must be Mo Elder. Junior pays respects to Mo Elder. Mo Sing had froze. He was certain he had never met Rim Jang Uk, yet this kid seemed to know him. He was incredibly surprised. "Wait, you know who I am?" Rim Jang Uk responded, "You and Miss Mo Mang-yu share some similarities. I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong. Also, there can't be many in the human race who can summon a creature to travel with a summoner like you do." Rim Jang Uk was confident that Mo Sing-hai and Mo Mang-yu were grandfather and granddaughter, but the main reason he was so sure was that he had seen the summoned beast beside Mo Sing-hai. He wasn't a fool. There were only one or two summoners in the entire human race who could match Baek Hua-won. With that alone, it was easy to make an educated guess. "This kid's not bad, he has some sharp eyes," Mok Sing-hai said, sizing up Rim Jang Uk from head to toe, a level 35 Necromancer. He might only be at level 35, but that was a rather unique class. Still, why did Baek Hua-won think so highly of him? Baek Hua-won walked over and casually took a seat. "Tell me, what did you experience in the Eternal Trials? Did you learn anything new?" Rim Jang Uk shared the main points of his journey, leaving out many details. "After entering the Eternal Trials, I first encountered the soul-eating insect king. Then I fought a few rounds with the entire family of soul-devouring insects and wiped them all out. After that, I had an epic battle with the great earth-piercing dragon god." Hearing this, both Baek Hua-won and Mo Sing-hai were left speechless, unable to believe it. They stuttered, double-checking to see if they had heard it wrong. Baek Hua-won finally took a deep breath and asked, "You're saying you killed the soul-devouring insect queen?" Mo Sing-hai added, "And you even killed the great earth-piercing dragon god?" Rim Jang Uk coldly and decisively answered with a single word, "Yes." He said it as if it were the most natural thing in the world. The two old men stared at each other, still in disbelief over what they had just heard. What in the world happened? Baek Hua-won and Mo Sing-hai couldn't hide their shock. They looked at each other and could clearly see the three words in each other's eyes. No way. The room fell completely silent. After a moment, May and Ban suddenly burst into laughter. Loud, cheerful, and incredibly refreshing, which made the other two old men break out in cold sweat. Rim Jang Uk had no idea what was so funny. What was there to laugh about in all this? The more Mang and Ban laughed, the more awkward it became for Baek Hua-won and Mok Sing-hai. Rim Jang Uk had a feeling that there was something more to this situation. Mok Sing-hai let out a snort and said, "Mr. Mang, what are you laughing at?" Baek Hua-won knew exactly what Mang and Ban was laughing about. The same old grudge. What's so funny about that? If it were you, would you even be able to pull it off? Mang Ban chuckled and said, "Back then, you two led a group of people to fight the soul-devouring insect queen. But before you even knew what she looked like, you were already running away from the soul-devouring insect king. Then, still not satisfied, you wanted to take on the great earth-piercing dragon god. You fought hard, sure, but for half an hour and almost died from poison. You two were such a mess back then. It was as bad as it gets." Beg Yui One snorted. "Wasn't it the same with you? We invited you to come along, but you refused. And now you're making fun of us?" Mang Ban replied, "I knew we wouldn't win. Why go and embarrass myself?" Beg Yui One huffed, not bothering to respond to Mang Ban. Those two failures were just a couple of rare missteps in his life, not something too shameful, but definitely nothing to brag about. Still, Mang Ban loved bringing them up to tease him. This time, Mok Singhai was pulled into the joke as well. He had been lured by Beg Yui One into that boss fight, and in the end, he couldn't manage to land a single hit. Mr. Mo also spoke up. That's right. Mr. Mang, you've gone too far this time. Jang Uk was a bit stunned. Was the boss really that difficult to deal with? Even Beg Yui One from back then had been forced to back down. Jang Uk continued his long story, explaining how he met Mo Mang Yu and completed the fusion with a primordial rune. She also received the primordial rune, but just as the fusion was almost complete, they were ambushed by demons. They entered the Divine Selection's secret realm and obtained divine power. The series of events that followed left even seasoned god-level experts like Beg Yui One, Mang Ban, and Mok Singhai wide-eyed in shock. These old-timers couldn't believe it. In just 2 months, this kid had gone through all of that. Jang Uk pulled out a bunch of items and said, "These are the Heart of Earth and Earth Gem I got from the Earth Core dungeon." Mr. Mang stroked his beard and nodded. "With these, humanity may once again produce an Earth Knight." Beg Yui One clicked his tongue and sighed. How many years has it been since humanity last had an Earth Knight? Mang Ban put the Heart of Earth Gem away and said, "Little Rim, you've done a great service for humanity this time. When you go back, you must be rewarded handsomely." Jang Uk hurriedly said, "This is just something a junior should do." He then pulled out his prize. "This is the Dragon King token I got from Demonic Dragon Palace. I think this might allow me to enter the Demonic Dragon Palace dungeon in the lower spatial level." The old man, Mang Ban, continued to laugh heartily. "Your master can't help you with this because he can't even enter the Demonic Dragon Palace himself." Meanwhile, Beg Yui One, who was hit right in the gut by those words, sat silently, drenched in sweat. Jang Uk kept going, pulling out a bunch of dragon essence. "Oh, and master, here's the remaining dragon essence." Beg Yui One looked at it, almost speechless. "How many times have you farmed the Demonic Dragon Palace buffs? Did you go and raid the Demonic Dragon's lair or something?" Mok Singhai was also stunned, unable to say anything. This kid. At that moment, everyone started noticing the military badge Jang Uk was wearing on his shoulder. It was a golden badge, a gold military insignia with the rank of a first-star lieutenant colonel. To reach the rank of lieutenant colonel, you need 1 million military merit points to earn another star. How many demons and dragons did this kid kill in the Eternal Trials? Mok Singhai's mouth hung open in disbelief. Oh my god, a first-star lieutenant colonel at level 35. That's never happened in history. Mang Ban immediately shook his head and stroked his beard. "Don't even talk about level 35. I've never seen a lieutenant with a single star at level 45. Becoming a first-star major isn't easy at all. You really have to kill a lot of evil demons and dragonkin to reach that rank. Most majors with a star can be considered demon slayers. In the military, the rank of a first-star major isn't low. Leaving everything else aside, once Jang Uk decides to join the army, he would at least have thousands of people under his command. The military doesn't care about levels and only cares about ranks." Mok Singhai turned around and started walking off, clearly bored. "Forget it. Let's go. Let's just go." Beg Yui One, feeling pleased because he had such an outstanding disciple, stopped him. "Stay a bit longer. This kid hasn't finished his report yet." Maybe Mok Singhai felt a bit irritated because Jang Uk was so powerful compared to his granddaughter. So he snapped, "Get lost, I'm worried about my good little granddaughter." With that, Mok Singhai stormed off. After he left, Beg Yui One grew serious and asked, "All right, the old man's gone. Now you can tell us the truth. What's the divine power you gain in the Divine Selection secret realm? What level is it?" Jang Uk thought to himself, the divine land is too mysterious. Maybe it's better not to tell the teacher. Then the young man answered briefly, "It's at level 30 now." Beg Yui One absent-mindedly took a sip of tea and muttered, "Level 30? That's a bit disappointing." Suddenly, Beg Yui One's pupils contracted sharply, his face tightened, his mouth dropped open, and his whole body jerked up. Wait a minute. The teacup in his hand dropped as Beg Yui One could no longer hold on to it. What level did you say? Say it again. Raven Jang Uk answered quickly and concisely. Level 30. Bank Yua 1 nearly knocked over the tea table. He was in shock, losing his composure, and the teacup he'd been holding was forgotten. How can this be? Back then, I was only level 5, and I already broke the highest record of humanity. Mei and Ban laughed loudly, mocking Bank Yua 1's flustered state. Raven Jang Uk cautiously added, Actually, I'm at level 35 now. Looking at Bank Yua 1, Rim Jang Uk realized there were things he couldn't bring himself to say. Level 35. Bank Yua 1 thought about Rim Jang Uk's job characteristics. As long as his skills reached the same level as his own, he could level them up at the same time he advanced in rank. He never expected someone with such a special divine power to actually be able to do this. Thinking about it, Bank Yua 1 could only say one thing. Seriously, what a freak. He hoped Rim Jang Uk would surpass him, but now he felt somewhat defeated. A bit disheartened, he waved his hand. You go rest for now. I want some peace and quiet. Rim Jang Uk obediently followed his instructions and left the garden. After Rim Jang Uk left, the Baishin courtyard was filled with the smug laughter of Mei and Ban. How is it? Feeling shocked. Mei and Ban was absolutely delighted. Seeing Bank Yua 1 upset was his greatest pleasure. Bank Yua 1 firmly replied, A talented young person, a disciple stronger than his master, of course. I'm happy about it. If anything, I'm proud. Meg and Ban shot back, but your expression doesn't exactly say that. Bank Yua 1 side, it's just a little surprising, that's all. Surprising? Do you even know what that means? A blockhead like you probably doesn't understand what surprise is. I'd say it's more like horror than surprise, but surprise or horror, either way, the stronger Jang Yu gets, the happier I am. That's the truth. Bank Yua 1 said sincerely. He lowered his voice and added, The problem is, with Little Rim being this strong, I'm not sure how we should train him next. Mei and Ban chuckled softly, sipping his tea. That's easy. Just let him follow the path you once took and see if he can go even further. Bank Yua 1 was a little taken aback. You mean Lim? Back at the academy, Rim Jang Uk didn't return to the dormitory to rest. He didn't even stay at the academy. Instead, he went straight to the #1 military training ground. He decided to use this time to upgrade all of his skills. He wanted to take advantage of the battlefield training grounds at Fort 1 to enhance his military abilities. After a while, the young man felt quite satisfied with his progress. His contribution points had reached 6,000, which meant he was now fully qualified to join Sheng Guang Creations Seminary. In the future, he might even be able to fight side by side with his older sister. The Poison Stellar Ring was at level 35. Within a 35-meter radius, it formed a toxic damage area, dealing damage equivalent to 350 strength points per second, lasting for 35 seconds. Suddenly, the teleportation talisman formation in front of him activated. Rim Jang Uk was surprised. A level 1 military order appeared. All extraordinary abilities below level 40 stationed at the fortress are not allowed to leave and must prepare for battle. Level 1 military order. All extraordinary abilities from level 40 to below level 60 proceed through the teleportation talisman formation to fortress number 6. Level 1 military order. All extraordinary abilities from level 60 to the 3rd tier proceed through the teleportation talisman formation to fortress number 7. Level 1 military order. All top-tier extraordinary abilities proceed through the teleportation talisman formation to fortress number 8. Rim Jang Uk stuffed his hands into his pockets and walked toward the teleportation talisman formation. He told the guard at the door, Take me to fortress number 6. The guard waved his hand in refusal. Sorry, extraordinary abilities at a low level, you need to stay at fortress number 1. Rim Jang Uk wasted no time. He immediately lifted his military badge and showed it to the soldier. The soldier quickly saluted, saying, Greetings, sir. We don't look at rank, only at the badge. That's the rule on the battlefield. Rim Jang Uk asked, Do I have permission to enter? The soldier glanced at the shiny gold badge and immediately recognized it. Lieutenant Colonel 1 star, he quickly bowed and added, Sir, according to the rules, you are authorized to enter a fortress. Rim Jang Uk nodded and said, Take me to Fortress 6. Yes, sir. Please step into the teleportation circle. The soldier moved quickly and decisively. Without any unnecessary words, Rim Jang Uk stepped into the teleportation circle, and a red light surrounded him as he was transported to Fortress 6. The sky over Fortress 6 was even darker, and the air felt heavy as if a storm was about to hit. The military teleportation circles were all active, with large groups of people rushing in and out. Those arriving at Fortress 6 were all individuals with extraordinary abilities ranging from level 40 to level 59. The military's orders were strict, and everyone followed them without question. The command this time was urgent, coming directly from command headquarters at Fortress 1. No one dared to disobey the orders. The commander at Fortress 6 was Colonel Naejun, level 63. The veteran of the Dominant Legion, the old man Jang Xian, level 53 and master of the Magic Circle, spoke up. Naejun, do you know which Demon Lord's team this is? Naejun answered, not yet, it's still unclear. Naejun gazed into the distance. The battle was about to begin in just moments. The enemy had not yet arrived, and there was no information available at the moment. The old man continued, this enemy is a bit mysterious, but I've already taken control of the Magic Circle in the city. Don't worry. Although his level wasn't high because of the unique nature of the Magic Circle, he was able to unleash incredible power on the battlefield. He was very confident about this fight. For many years, Fortress 6 had been equipped with an extremely powerful Magic Circle that could change the tide of battle. When the two of them saw Jang Uk, a level 35 young man walking toward them, Naejun immediately asked, which young man took the wrong path. Suddenly, Naejun hesitated and waited, the badge on his chest. Both of them froze in place, unable to believe their eyes. First Lieutenant, so young, only level 35. Jang Xian followed Naejun's gaze, and upon seeing Jang Uk, his face showed clear surprise. It's him. Naejun asked, Mr. Jang, do you know him? Jang Xian thought back to the time when he was presiding over the promotion ceremony and replied, I met him once. I even led the promotion ceremony for this kid. I never thought that in just a few months he'd reach level 35. His leveling speed is crazy. Hearing that, Tuan was stunned, unable to believe it, and pressed for clarification. What did you say? You mean he just got promoted a few months ago, and in that short time, he reached First Lieutenant, level 35. How is that even possible? Naejun chuckled, clearly enjoying the moment. You're shocked, right? Honestly, I was too when I first heard it. A level 35 First Lieutenant, this was unheard of. Jang Xian couldn't even imagine what Jang Uk had been through the past few months. Leveling up that fast was hard to wrap your head around. Could someone even go from nothing to First Lieutenant so quickly? Jang Xian wondered to himself if Jang Uk had ventured into the Abyss world, fighting demons there to level up. Maybe the demons lined up in front of him, just waiting to be taken down. Otherwise, how would he have leveled up so quickly? Jang Xian himself had spent years just to reach First Lieutenant. After a long pause, Jang Xian finally spoke up. This is truly a miracle. Old man Jang Xian stroked his long beard and added, this kid isn't simple. He's actually the country's top scorer this year. Naejun suddenly had a thought that made him break into a cold sweat. I remember that not long ago, a fierce battle gave birth to the youngest captain in human history. Could it be him? It probably is. Even though Naejun wasn't part of the battle at Fortress 1, he had still heard some of the news. Jang Xian spoke with curiosity and anticipation. I'm really looking forward to seeing what surprises he'll bring when the big fight starts later. The team on the city walls was already prepared. Naejun sharply gave the order, activating the Legion mode. Everyone joined the Legion. The Legion had tens of thousands of people, far larger than what Jang Uk had faced at Fortress 1. As the commander of this battle, Naejun was more than qualified to be the Legion leader. Jang Xian was the vice commander. Updated info. Legion leader Naejun, level 63, Supreme Legion. Vice leader Jang Xian, level 53, Magic Circle Grandmaster. Vice leader Jang Uk, level 35, Necromancer. When Jang Uk saw the name Jang Xian, he was momentarily stunned. Jang Xian was the one who had overseen his awakening of latent abilities in the city of Xi-High. Naejun's voice echoed through the fortress, strong and captivating. The Legion has been formed, and I am the commander. I declare that all military achievements will be consolidated and rewards will be given after the battle based on merit. The Legion is now established. You are all comrades. Your skills will not harm your teammates, so you are free to unleash your full potential. The Legion is formed, and if anyone cowardly retreats during the battle, that person will be punished after the fight. The soldiers began to murmur among themselves when they saw the names of the vice and main commanders. Who is this vice commander? How can someone at level 35 be made vice commander? One soldier agreed loudly, yeah. What's a level 35 even doing here? Isn't that basically asking for trouble? Another soldier thought in a more negative direction. Could it be that they're here just to hitch a ride on the military achievements? After Jang Xian, the position of vice commander had suddenly been filled by someone named Jang Uk. Many were surprised and started gossiping what's going on. A level 35 can't even reach Fortress 6. The highest extraordinary abilities here are at least level 40. A low-level extraordinary abilities user coming here is basically asking for death. The news spread quickly and more people started talking about it. Suddenly, someone else spoke up in surprise. I just remembered. There was someone named Jang Uk in the Extraordinary Abilities Global Tournament before. He even broke the record for the challenge match. I remember now. His name really is Jang Uk, but back then he was only level 27. How did he get to level 35 so quickly? Having a child doesn't happen that fast. A person asked in confusion, "Are you saying he's actually a genius? Is that what you're all implying?" Many people started making harsh guesses. It seemed that not only was there some connection, but he was also a true genius. Then, a voice rang out. When the battle begins, the truth will reveal itself. After about half an hour of preparation, the enemy finally appeared within sight. Dark clouds gathered quickly, creating the illusion of a storm about to hit. Jang Uk's psychic ability was extremely strong, and in an instant, he sensed the presence of the enemy. This familiar aura wasn't demons. It was the Dragon Clan. He couldn't believe it. How had the Dragon Clan made it into the battlefield? Then he saw them clearly. Huge, dinosaur-like monsters lined up in formation, charging forward aggressively. Riding these monsters were members of the Dragon Clan with extraordinary abilities. The leader, wearing heavy armor, was a knight. Behind him were archers, mages, and a healer in a cloak from the Dragon Clan. Nanjun saw clearly who had arrived and quietly said, "It's the Asian Dragon Legion of the Dragon Clan." Jang Qian was surprised. "I can't believe it. 1,000 years ago, they were driven out of the Yuan battlefield, and now the Dragon Clan has found their way back." Nanjun smiled slightly. "Find their way back? No, they're just charging ahead without thinking. You're giving the Dragon Clan too much credit. Whether it's the Dragon Clan or the demons, they're both enemies of humanity." The Dragon Legion moved forward with overwhelming force, charging straight toward Fort 6. There were a lot of them, at least 10,000. They even had a warship with them. On the ship was a massive magical orb, its diameter larger than 100 branches of the Asian Dragon Legion. More and more warships kept appearing. Clearly, the Dragon Clan had been preparing for this. They weren't just attacking Fort 6. They had sent a large number of soldiers to hunt down both humans and demons scattered across the Yuan battlefield. Both humans and demons were enemies of the Dragon Clan. This time, the Dragon Clan wasn't planning to show mercy to anyone. Their sudden appearance could change the battlefield dynamics, even affecting the balance between the races. As the Dragon Clan drew nearer, Nanjun began to activate his skills. He drew his magic sword from his side and raised it high. A huge, violent light shot out from the blade. The entire army was empowered. The brilliant light quickly expanded, sweeping across the entire fortress, covering everyone once again. A heavy sound echoed as the power, agility, spirit, and physical strength of everyone there increased. The sounds continued one after another, and with them, rings of light appeared in sequence. The ability to enhance the strength of the entire army was the most powerful feature of the dominant legion, irreplaceable on the battlefield. Jang Uk stood at the top of the city wall, looking toward the approaching dragon tribe. The corner of his mouth curved into a slight smile. Another military achievement was coming his way. Suddenly, the shield shone brightly and a beam of light shot out from it, heading straight for the dragon tribe. Jang Uk turned his gaze toward Jang Qian. He had already made his move. Jang Qian is a master of magic circles, overseeing all the magic circles in Fortress No. 6. His attacks are also drawn from the magic circles. Some say that when all the magic circles are perfected, a battle formation specialist is unbeatable against others of the same level. No matter what extraordinary ability they have, they won't be able to defeat a battle formation specialist. Inside Fortress No. 6, the magic circles were fully activated, even though Jang Qian was only at level 53. After controlling the magic circles, his power rivaled that of a level 60 extraordinary ability user. At first, the beam of light shot out quickly, about the size of a fist, but as it absorbed a large amount of elemental energy from the air, it began to grow larger. By the time it reached the dragon tribe, the beam had transformed into a pillar of light with a diameter of over 5 meters. The Dragon Legion quickly reacted, and the huge magical orb on the battleship shot out a beam of pink light. The two beams collided, and a small sun suddenly appeared in midair, shining brightly down on the ground. A terrifying wave of energy spread, tearing through the battlefield's dark earth. The ground of Yuan's battlefield cracked open with a loud rumble. But the light show faded, the besieging battleship remained unharmed. The Dragon Legion was fine too, meaning Jang Qian's attack had failed. He sighed softly. "It's a failure." It seemed that Nanjun had already anticipated this outcome, so he spoke as Jang Qian prepared for his next strike. Normally, the Dragon Clan's besieging battleships are incredibly strong. We've seen it in the military records before. Jang Qian was aware of this too. I was just testing it out. The real show is about to begin. Jang Qian activated the magic circle again, and the entire fortress lit up brilliantly. Even the ground around the fortress began to glow. The ground surrounding the fortress had been inscribed with the same magic circle, allowing it to continuously absorb energy from Yuan's battlefield. Countless rooms appeared from a fortress that had once only existed in theory. Now it was truly a weapon of war. A terrifying force surged from the sky, and thousands of fierce lightning bolts struck the Asian Dragon Legion. Thunder rumbled loudly, and the besieging battleship of the Dragon Clan gleamed brightly. The giant magical orb quickly formed a massive dome of light, covering the entire branch of the Legion like a giant umbrella. Firmly blocking the thunderous attack of the lightning, not only did he defend against the strike, but he also absorbed all the energy from the lightning and converted it into his own power. The magic sphere, over 100 meters in diameter, contained an astonishing amount of energy. The lightning crashed into the shield, producing booming sounds and sparks flying above, but it had no effect at all. The magic sphere on the warship, surrounded by a shining array of colors, absorbed attack after attack, growing stronger with each one. Nanjan seemed to have noticed something and spoke in a low voice. It's absorbing your attacks and turning them into its own power. The warship shield of the Dragon Clan, combining offense and defense into one, is really powerful. Jang Xian didn't stop attacking, his gaze becoming serious. Let it absorb as much as it can. When it starts to counterattack, that will be my chance. Nanjan trusted Jang Xian's judgment and didn't say anything else. In battle, one does their best, no need for unnecessary questions. Jang Xian didn't speak further and focused entirely on controlling the magic array of the fortress. The offensive power increased once more, and the lightning grew even fiercer. It was clear that Jang Xian's goal was to break through the Dragon Clan's defense. The column of light from the fortress concentrated and shot straight at the Dragon Clan's magic sphere. Boom! A deafening shockwave echoed through the air. The protective shield around the Long Tribe's warship was still intact, and the magical sphere grew brighter and more dazzling with each passing moment. Jang Uk focused his gaze, closely observing the situation. The old man Jang Xian continued to use the magic circle, sending countless runes into the air. The power of Jang Xian's magic gathered to its peak, and once again, it shot directly at the Long Tribe's magical sphere. Finally, the power reached its maximum limit. Then, there was a deafening explosion. Boom! The magical sphere surrounding the warship shattered, and the entire ship exploded, completely incinerated. The nearby Long Tribe warships were also caught in the blast, exploding one after another. The warships fell from the sky, crashing to the ground in pieces. Ha ha! In the end, I win. Jang Xian laughed loudly. He was the ultimate victor in this confrontation. Just as he had said, the only chance to defeat the enemy was when the Long Tribe's warship launched its attack, and he had done it. Even though this was his first battle against the Long Tribe's warship formation, he had still found their weakness. That was the nature of a magic circle master, finding the enemy's flaws in the smallest of details. He had won, though it had come at a cost. Now came the moment when the Shengsa army clashed head-on with the Asian Dragon Legion. With another booting laugh, he activated the magic circle once more, using the last of its power. The fortress, which had been dimmed just moments ago, now glowed brightly once again. A massive sparkling aura filled the sky, covering a 100-kilometer radius, turning it into a no-fly zone. No need for a high-level mage and no need for special skills. A battle formation specialist can use a magic circle to create an enormous forbidden zone, one so large that it strips all races of their ability to fly, taking away their aerial advantage. The dragons riding in the sky began to fall. The dragon race had predicted this move beforehand, and they weren't panicked at all. The dragons gritted their teeth, their eyes glowing red with fury. I knew humans would try to block us. One of them hissed. As soon as they hit the ground, they launched their attack. The Dragon Legion had more than 10,000 soldiers, and the nearly 1,000 Dragon Knights leading the charge were just the vanguard. Behind them were archers, mages, and finally healers. The leader shouted, "Kill! Break through the human defenses and slaughter them." At the very back of the Asian Dragon Legion, there was one person who did not charge forward with the rest. This person was part of the support team for the entire branch of the Legion. Similar to the extraordinary abilities of the ruling army, this individual was responsible for maintaining the overall status of the entire division. The Dragon Army formed a perfectly aligned square formation, radiating incredible power and intimidation. Their killing intent seemed to stretch from the ground to the sky, but in reality, it was more like pressure, pushing down on everything around them. Jang Uk observed the situation, quietly analyzing the enemy has about 10,000 soldiers. Each unit contains 3 types of warriors: knights, archers, mages, and healers. Combined with the strong vitality of the dragons, their ability to maintain continuous combat is incredibly powerful. While Jang Uk was deep in thought, the Asian Dragon Legion moved closer. Neijun raised his magical sword and activated the final state before the battle began. The skill boosted morale, threw fear aside, and strengthened the will to fight. Within 10 minutes, defense increased by 30%, attack power surged by 30%. The entire human army was fully prepared. The city gates opened wide, and the first group of soldiers charged out, forming their formation and ready to face the enemy. On the city walls, archers and mages were also well prepared. Suddenly, the pupils of the human soldiers contracted sharply as they looked ahead. They couldn't believe their eyes and exclaimed, "What? Who is that guy? Is he crazy? What exactly is he trying to do?" At that moment, Jang Uk suddenly jumped down from the city wall and landed outside the city. The young man landed gracefully. Then, with one hand casually tucked in his pocket, he officially appeared in front of the human army and casually walked toward the Dragon Legion. Seeing Jang Uk act this way, everyone stared in shock and disbelief. Is he really trying to throw his life away? The Dragon Legion has thousands of soldiers. What can he do alone? He's gone mad. This guy is really out of his mind. His genius is making him lose his sanity. He's nothing but a self-proclaimed genius. Someone from the back shouted for Jang Uk to return, but he ignored them and continued walking forward. Naijun stood on the command platform, frozen in place, his mouth hanging open as he muttered, "What does he want to do?" Jang Qian shook his head, indicating that he didn't understand either. Naijun spoke in a low voice. Before awakened latent abilities reaches the third stage, no matter how strong a person is, they can't stand against a full legion. Naijun immediately wanted to charge forward to stop Jang Uk. "No, I have to bring him back," he said, preparing to act. But Jang Qian stopped him. "Wait, look at this." Naijun's eyes widened in shock. He was struck with a wave of fear. His body covered in cold sweat, and a chill ran down his spine. There, standing before him, was Jang Uk, wielding his Thanatos scythe, with spiritual energy radiating from him powerfully. Beside him, the branches of the Undead Legion began to appear. It wasn't just Naijun. The others who had mocked Jang Uk earlier, saying he was walking to his death, were now silent. 15 branches of the Undead Legion stood in perfect formation next to Jang Uk, and the ground on the battlefield began to shake with a cold breeze. Although the Undead Legion wasn't as large as the Dragon Clans, its sheer presence was not to be underestimated. The deceased heroes also unleashed their skills, sending beams of blinding white light that illuminated the entire battlefield. Jang Uk was preparing to face a legion all on his own. The humans, still in shock, couldn't believe their eyes. He has his own legion? Even the Asian Dragon Legion, charging forward, paused in shock. Then someone exclaimed in disbelief, "The Undead Legion, it's him, Jang Uk. The Dragon King has given an order. Kill Jang Uk, and you'll be rewarded with high-level bloodline and even granted a chance to enter the ancestral dragon realm. Kill him. Kill Jang Uk." At that moment, the Asian Dragon Legion rushed toward Jang Uk, their murderous intent focused on him. All of his actions on the UN battlefield had already spread to the Dragon Tribe's world. In the Dragon Tribe, he had made it onto their must-kill list. Jang Uk paid no attention to this. In the blink of an eye, the Undead Legion closed in, surrounding Jang Uk in the center. Then they, along with Jang Uk, launched an attack on the Asian Dragon Legion. Jang Uk led the charge, his fingers pointing and muttering under his breath. "Since the Dragon Tribe has high resistance to curses, then let's use this, a poison stellar ring." A flash of green light exploded, and the poison stellar ring swiftly crossed the central battlefield, carrying with it potent toxins. The entire sky was covered in a deadly green hue. The Dragon Tribe forces, hit in large numbers, screamed in terror. "Ah, it's a poison attack. It hurts so much." One by one, they seemed to be struck by a deadly blow, crying out in agony. Although they were all above level 50, it was impossible to underestimate the 14,000 attack power points, especially since it hit once every second. The life force was quickly draining away. The healers in the Long Tribe's team were working at full capacity. The Long Tribe members yelled urgently, "Hurry up, heal us." The mages and archers of the Long Tribe launched their attacks at the same time. Thousands of mages and archers fired together, and in an instant, a storm of arrows and meteors filled the sky, completely surrounding Jang Uk and his undead army. Seeing this, everyone in the fortress couldn't help but swallow nervously. How could they possibly survive this? The skeleton armor on Jang Uk's body gleamed brightly. With a cold, determined gaze, he gave the order to counterattack. At his command, Jang Uk's skeleton mages launched their attacks in unison. The four elements, ice, fire, lightning, and wind, unleashed their skills. Blizzard of ferocious ice, explosive fire magic, 5 thunders divine strike, and raging whirlwind. A barrage of spells rained down on the Long Tribe knights. Some of the spells collided midair, exploding with a thunderous roar. In an instant, the scene was dazzling, like a breathtaking fireworks display lighting up the sky. It was truly beautiful. Jang Uk looked up at the rain of arrows filling the sky, along with meteorites falling one after another. He couldn't help but let out a sigh. Such a scene was incredibly rare, but to others, it was the very image of death. No one thought Rim Jang Uk could survive this. If he falls, the undead army won't be able to hold on any longer. No matter how you looked at it, the undead army was only level 35. Rim Jang Uk was too overconfident. Even if he had an army, their numbers couldn't possibly compare to those of the Dragonkin. The arrows exploded, the meteorites rained down. The relentless barrage completely overwhelmed the undead army. The price of arrogance was death. Rim Jang Uk was finished. Many people behind him had already closed their eyes, certain that Rim Jang Uk was doomed. But then, amidst the explosions, a shadow appeared. Soon after, a large group of skeletons charged forward, clashing head-on with the Dragonkin Knights. Despite the deafening blasts, the skeleton warriors didn't flinch. The humans watching were once again struck with astonishment. Wait, look, he actually withstood that attack. It's unbelievable. The crowd was filled with curiosity, their questions burning. How did he manage to survive? The deceased hero activates the Healing Legion. The Vu General is turned into a figure similar to the Legion's overlord. Every healing spell cast by each Vu General affects all summoned creatures, including itself. After receiving this boost, the strength attributes of the skeleton soldier increase significantly, making it comparable to the Dragon Knight. The skeleton soldier unleashes a flurry of attacks, striking fiercely at the Dragon Knight. A pure white light continuously shines from their bodies, and healing magic keeps being cast on them. At this moment, Rim Jang Uk appears like a reaper, preparing to take lives, quietly calculating. The Legion's life link, combined with the healing from the deceased hero, means that as long as my soldiers aren't killed instantly, they are effectively immortal. With a cold, sharp gaze, the young man smirks. As long as I can create a corpse, it's easy. Suddenly, a shocking announcement appears. Vice Commander Rim Jang Uk has left the Legion. After reading the notice, everyone quickly realizes that Rim Jang Uk has withdrawn from the Legion. He left the Legion, what does he want to do? Nanjun sweats, confused and shocked. It's one surprise after another. Nanjun wonders, does this kid plan to take down all the Dragon Clan by himself? The combined military strength of these Dragon Clan soldiers probably adds up to 20 million. Rim Jang Uk activated the red rune on the back of his hand, which gleamed brightly. The skill Asterisk Enhanced Troops Asterisk lasted for 30 seconds, during which both he and all summoned creatures had their base stats increased by 200%, and all attacks dealt an extra 500% damage. The cooldown was 1 hour, and a light, like swirling tea smoke, burst out from the Necromancer army's location. In that instant, the entire Necromancer faction underwent drastic changes. Their momentum surged, and their attack power grew rapidly. The Dragonkin were once again thrown into panic. What's happening? Damn it. Why are these skeletons suddenly so much stronger? The Dragonkin Knight leading the army suddenly shouted, ignoring the skeletons and focusing on taking down Rim Jang Uk. Right? Kill Rim Jang Uk. They finally remembered that Rim Jang Uk was the real target. Once we kill Rim Jang Uk, the skeletons will die on their own. But they couldn't break through. I can't get through. We need healing quick. At that moment, the Dragonkin were completely on the defensive. The Necromancer army had suddenly become much stronger, catching them off guard. A large number of Dragonkin Knights were injured, and in the blink of an eye, they triggered their maximum defense. Without it, they would have been dead in the next second. Rim Jang Uk's thoughts moved swiftly. The skeleton warriors swept past the Dragon Knight, striking at the archers and mages behind them. Thanks to the enhanced troop skill, the skeleton warriors' attributes were greatly boosted, making their strength and speed far exceed that of the Dragon Knights. The Dragon Knights were already no match for them, and it was easy to imagine what would happen when they faced the skeleton warriors in this state, along with the archers and mages. On top of that, there were over 1,000 skeleton mages outside. The Dragon Knights couldn't even get close. A sense of despair spread rapidly. It wasn't until a blood-curdling scream echoed that one of the dragon-tried archers finally fell to a skeleton warrior's blade. Rim Jang Uk coldly glared and muttered, "It's all over now. The first corpse has been created, and the next events are already set in motion. Corpse explosion skill, 200-meter damage range, 1,200% life force attack." A massive explosion rang out, and the surrounding Dragon Tribe members fell in an instant, without any strength to fight back. Immediately after, a series of explosions followed, showing no sign of stopping. Rim Jang Uk was using the Dragon Tribe to practice his skills. Only he knew just how difficult it was to master corpse explosion, and how rare it was to have tens of thousands of bodies to work with. An opportunity like this could be wasted. The entire space was drenched in a mournful red.